And welcome in Out of Bounds here on 103.7 The Buzz. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you, as always, for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon, it is a Reaction Monday presented by Fleet Management Services, where, hey, listen, they're looking for a maintenance tech, so they have oil changes, tires, general maintenance. If you're interested, just call 501-375-3672. We have a lot to discuss today on Reaction Monday, and we want to hear from you. 501-661-1037 is that number to call or text in. You can get after us in the Asher Record Live fan feedback. After me on Twitter at BuzzJohnNeighbors. And today, going to have Andrew Ellis of HogSports.com going to join us because he had a chance to hear from Sam Pittman, which he's meeting with the media this week as it is officially game week, which is exciting. But Chris Gordy will join us today as well. We'll have some tickets to give away. We'll recap some of the sports weekend, get into some of the headlines. And as just has been pretty much the energy all day long, Joe, it is officially Razorback football game week. 5 days away, Darren McFadden days away. I know that there's been some changes, which we'll get into for that game, but it's officially here, and now we can have the lead up to actually seeing real live Razorback football.
And we got a taste of college football this weekend, and it's going to be some more starting on Thursday, taking us through the Labor Day weekend. But the one we are all looking forward to is Arkansas, Western Carolina on Saturday here in Little Rock at War Memorial Stadium at 12.
Not 3 p.m., moved to noon. And that announcement was made this morning. And, you know, when I first saw it on social media, because basically how I found out about it was I have on my phone for Twitter notifications where if a certain Twitter account tweets out something, it sends you a message almost like it's a text message. And I have that for Razorback football because I'm like, you know, just they're always going to be usually the head of the game when it comes to any sort of announcements. And when I saw that, it said game time change. And I was like, oh, for maybe it's for like the volleyball game or something like that, you know. But then I clicked, I was like, wait, this is for football? What? And it got moved from 3 p.m. to noon. And my immediate reaction was like, okay, that's not going to go over well with a lot of people. But they gave out the statement officially that they said that due to the weather forecast calling for temperatures in the mid-90s and high humidity on Sunday afternoon, shifting up the game will allow safer conditions for the student athletes on the field and those who are in attendance is the reason that they gave. But
good reason.
Yeah. And it's just more of, not everyone's going to be happy about this. There are some people that are fine with it. But we'll make the adjustment. We'll make the changes, and there'll still be a ton of Razorback fans there just 3 hours earlier than what they were planning on getting there.
The timing is interesting, and you can take into account a couple of different things here. You're less than a week away. You would think more of a heads up, but the fact that maybe they wanted to get a certain amount of tickets sold before putting it out there to the public. And now people that were inclined to stay away because they thought it'd be entirely too hot at 3 o'clock. Now maybe some more of those will be inclined to go to the game at an earlier time because you're getting out of there sooner.
And I even know, again, not for everybody, but I know a few friends of mine that were unable to attend the game because they had a prior commitments at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I think it was like a wedding party or something like that. But anyways, now that they got moved up, they're able to go. So,
even better.
There'll be some that it's better for them and there'll be some that it's worse for. But at the end of the day, I selfishly like it because I've always felt like for games like this, and especially with the heat and knowing how hot it's going to be, it not only has an earlier time for that, but it also, the game ends a little bit earlier, which leaves open the opportunities to either go home or go over like Twin Peaks or something like that and be able to watch more of the college football games that you wouldn't be able to check out because you were at War Memorial Stadium. So, it's catch-22. You can find a positive and everything. I'm not saying it's going to make everyone happy, but selfishly, I'm fine with it. I'm good with it. Still going to be in attendance. Still going to be at the Buzz tailgates, just starting earlier. You still get your tickets at 1037thebuzz.com for the Buzz tailgate. All that's going to stay the same. It's just moving up. I'm fine with it. I'm happy with it. But those that maybe made some plans for the long tailgate or travel arrangements, I'm sure that they're maybe not feeling the same way today.
They went with noon, and simply because of TV. If it was for TV purposes, they would have gone to 11. But in this case, you don't have to worry about that because it is a game that's streaming. But if it was going to be on TV, in one of those TV windows and they moved it up, it would have been 11. So
Mhm.
think about the fact that it is an hour later than it could have been, because there are a lot of people that complain about 11 a.m. games, and that's it's essentially what it would have been, and now we're talking about noon as opposed to 11.
Yeah, and some people even asked about, well, why didn't they just move it to a night game? Why didn't they go to 6 to 7 o'clock or whatever? Because of the it gets much cooler then. And there's a few factors that go into that, whether or not you like it. But one of them being is that the team and Sam Pittman, they want to get back as early as possible. If they want to avoid having to travel back from late at night, they want to avoid that.
That factored into this decision also.
For sure, without question. And then I also believe it's all about who you are and what your situation is. But if you moved it to like 7 o'clock, that would have to open up a lot of things where suddenly people would be like, well, I was going to the game and still going to the game, but now because it's so late night, I'm going to have to, book a hotel room or whatever for that night. And something maybe I planned before of just coming back after the game or whatever. So I I understand just from social media, there's been a lot of people that have been upset, and there's been some people that have been fine with it. But I get it at the end of the day. I understand why they did it. I understand that it's still going to be warm no matter who you are and no matter what time the game's at. But it feels like this was a decision that had a lot of different determining factors than just simply, oh, it was the heat. There's a lot of stuff that went into it.
First game of the season, everybody's excited about it. So they would have come out from the beginning and said this is going to be an 11 a.m. game. There would have been complaints.
Oh, yeah.
But there would have been plenty of people that showed up to see this game because it is your first opportunity to see them on the field at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and listen, if you're someone that's talking about tailgating, then instead of starting with the whatever it is that you go out there with, the bourbon and the whiskey, just start with some Bloody Marys. It's a little mimosas, do a little breakfast vibe.
They don't even have to do that. I mean, it's good that there are different options, but people that enjoy a certain type of beverage or food, they're not going to change it up. They're still going to do what they do.
Yeah, you can't drink all day if you don't start early, as the old saying goes. But on our Southern Structural Solutions text line, we actually got a text from the 501 saying, will the game be televised? No, it's just going to be streaming only. So if you have ESPN Plus, SEC Network Plus, that'll be the way that you'll be able to view the game. But here's the deal. You won't need to do either one of those things because you can either A, go to the game, which we're going to have a lot of tickets to give away on this show throughout the week. So you have a chance to win that. Or two, you can listen to the game right here on 103.7 The Buzz and hear the great golden pipes of Chuck Barrett and also Quinn Grovey. And also, I'm sure you'll hear Coach Z in the background at some point in time getting excited and clapping. So that's what he does. But that's the better way to do it. But no, it will not be on any sort of television, just other than the streaming side of it. But yeah, I know, again, we got a lot of reaction, but that's what part of the Reaction Monday is really all about. And I've seen also somebody text in saying there's a lot of conspiracies flying around about this game time change. But I don't know if it's to that point. But you're still going to play Western Carolina. Still going to play the Catamounts, which also a fun fact tomorrow. This was something that I think it's a lot easier to do when you change it up a little bit and start having some opponents that maybe are easier to talk to. But tomorrow here on Out of Bounds, we're going to have the head coach of the Western Carolina Catamounts.
Start that trend, and we can do it every week.
Yeah, I'm sure. I bet you dollars to donuts that Brian Kelly and Jimbo Fisher
when it's A&M week.
Yeah,
they're all going to come on.
Nick Saban. Yeah, we've already got him booked.
He's going to be first in line.
He can't wait for it. In fact, he told me that personally. But yeah, we're going to have head coach Kerwin Bell on with us tomorrow, so we'll get a chance to talk with him. As he was part of the Florida Gator team in '98 is when he graduated, so he had a lot of success there, and has been a really successful coach after 15 years as a head coach. This is going to be his third season at Western Carolina. So we'll get a chance to hear from him. Because I'll be honest, I know just from what I've read about Western Carolina, about, this is the type of offense that they run, and these are the players that you got to look at. But I think who better to have on to talk more about their team and what to expect from them than the head coach. So it'll be nice just to get a little bit of an idea of what Arkansas is going to be going up against in Little Rock.
It's always good. Always good whenever you can have someone on to talk about the opposing team. But when you have the head coach on coming straight from the person who's doing the game planning with the coaching staff and seeing the players day in and day out, it's even better.
Absolutely. So, and we'll also get his take on what he thinks about the game change and if they even had a say in the matter or if it was just something
they show up and play when it's time to play.
Yeah, they got an email being like, "Hey, the game's moved. Just figure it out." And
there were discussions with him for sure.
Oh yeah,
But no, they show up to play
and they
ready
will.
to go.
And they will. And so, but we'll have discussion from that. I know that we've already got some text messages from people wanting us to go over some of the depth chart changes, and we have some game notes that we'll have too. But we got to see, as you mentioned, college football over the weekend. That was pretty nice, just to have those games, and none of them went my way on my Bet Saracen app whatsoever.
None of them. How?
Because
Notre Dame?
I thought that 20.5 points was a lot of points. So I picked Navy and to cover. I didn't expect them to win, but I expect them to cover. Didn't happen. I expected Vanderbilt to blow out Hawaii. Didn't happen.
Right.
And then
that was a good showing.
Yeah. And then, oh man, dude. So this is one thing, and we'll I know talk more about some of the games, but man, I had one of the best things. So because on Bet Saracen, they do these boosted parlays, and I had plus 15,000 for Hawaii and Hawaii and Vanderbilt to be tied at halftime, and then Hawaii to win the second half and win the game. All right. They had it. They had a touchdown to tie it at halftime, and it got reviewed, and it was put at the half-yard line. Then they got a false start. Then they threw a pick.
Oh.
So it's 21-14 at halftime. So close. And then
they did go on to win the second half?
No, because they ended up losing by a touchdown.
Yeah, but
I know
it would have been thrown. So okay, if you go to halftime and you're that excited about it, and then they don't come through in the second half, then
it's all for naught.
But that bet itself was saying that Hawaii was going to go on to win the game.
Correct.
Anyway.
Correct.
So.
Yeah. But I look at it since they lost by a touchdown. If they would have had that touchdown, maybe that would have been the same score, and then they go to overtime, and then who knows what happens. And I was really doing some mind work.
But that's why there were long shot odds on Bet Saracen, because of it was a long shot. But it's worth it. It's worth taking a shot at.
Yeah, I only put like $5 on it to win $750. You kidding me? Killing me, Hawaii. You're killing me. But hey, that's part of it. That's part of the fun. But we got a lot to talk about here on Reaction Monday, presented by Fleet Management Services. What do you make of the time change? What do you make of game week? Let us know about it. 501-661-1037. More Out of Bounds next.
Every Wednesday when RJ Hawk joins his old buddies on Morning Mayhem. Presented by Natural State Wholesale Flooring. See everything that Natural State Wholesale has to offer at naturalstatewholesale.com.
This is Sports Center.
Robert Perez Jr. hit a 3-run home run in the bottom of the 9th inning for the Arkansas Travelers yesterday, but it was too little too late in a 6-5 loss to the Wichita Wind Surge at Dickey-Stevens Park. Wichita built a 5-0 lead thanks to a 2-run home run from Aaron Sabato, a solo shot from Yoimer Fajardo, and an RBI triple from Tanner Scoble before RBI groundouts from Josh Morgan and Spencer Packard got the Travs on the board. Arkansas is off today, but they'll start a series in Tulsa tomorrow night. Moving to Major League Baseball, the Chicago Cubs took 3 of 4 from the Pittsburgh Pirates with a 10-1 win yesterday. One of those wins came from Conway native Jordan Wicks on Saturday. He retired 15 in a row at one point and finished with 9 strikeouts. I'm Todd Pierce for the Buzz Radio Network.
At Southern Floor Coating, coatings are all they do, and they won't be beat on price. Factory-trained installers using the purest form of polyurea with UV stability for all your outside projects. When you call, you'll talk with a professional interested in your project, not a voicemail. Don't trust a fly-by-night company that may not be in business next year. Transform your patio, porch, or pool deck and call the real pros at Southern Floor Coating. 501-402-4912 or take a look at southernfloorcoating.com.
Listen for NFL Hall of Fame referee Walt Coleman Wednesdays during Morning Mayhem, presented by Sigma Supply Packaging Products. Schedule a free waste audit analysis with Sigma Supply's sales manager David Breitenberg and see if automation is a solution to your production line issues. Online at sigmasupply.com. If you're not using Sigma Supply, you got low-grade product, man.
Everybody, everywhere has heard the endless offers to bring your current phone in and trade up for the latest model. Jump from iPhone 10 to iPhone 23. Switch from flip phone to Android. You've heard it all, but you haven't heard this. This month at Gwatney Chevrolet, trade your old phone towards a new ride. That's right. Why go trading your phone for another phone when you can trade a phone towards a car? During August, your old trade-in phone is worth $500 towards any car, truck, or SUV on the lot. And the best part is, everyone is getting approved this month, regardless of credit or your current situation. You might not have a down payment, but odds are you have an old phone. So don't upgrade your phone this month. Upgrade your ride instead by bringing it to Gwatney Chevrolet, 1301 TP White Drive in Jacksonville. Call 501-982-2102. WatneyChevrolet.com. Chevrolet. Find new roads.
This is Pat Bradley for Brewskis. Sometimes you just got to have some wings. And with buffalo, barbecue, teriyaki, Cajun buffalo, lemon honey, garlic parmesan, mango habanero, lemon pepper, pineapple habanero, honey hot, and Brewski's Reaper, you know where to find them. Brewski's, you're home for lunch, happy hour, and late night. This is Pat Bradley for Brewski's. Monday night is poker night with 2 games nightly, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. only at Brewski's.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Paid for by the Arkansas Highway Safety Office.
Justin Anker reminding you that if you want the job done right, then don't stress. Just go with the best. CertaPro Painters is your go-to painting company. You can get your free estimate scheduled at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. People who are going to be responsible and people who are going to be accountable to you and your family to make sure your project gets done right. So if you've been thinking about sprucing up your home or business for the fall season that is almost upon us, you need to get CertaPro on the case. Use the company that I've used many times over the years. It is CertaPro Painters. You'll be happy you did.
Fire up the grill this summer with the highest quality of meats from Hoggs Meat Market and their new location off JFK Boulevard in North Little Rock. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Oh, man. Talk radio?
Yes, talk radio.
So boring, man.
Okay.
The car just committed suicide.
Shut up, man. On 103.7 The Buzz.
Yeah. We all mine. Oh, yeah. Come on. So living it up. To everybody that be living it up, we say. So living it up. Come on, baby, this is typical. Every day, one night thing. It's the physical. I'ma love you tonight, gang. Look, calling your name, go jump on in the range and roll over. I just really wanted to hold you. Time, get the note. That's a good.
It is officially game week here on Out of Bounds, folks. Razorbacks and Western Carolina going to be taking each other on this Saturday at War Memorial at noon. Want to keep making sure that we talk about all of that, but I also want to talk about Bet Saracen and Bet Saracen app. We talked about how last weekend or this past weekend, I did not do too hot. So as much as you may not listen to me and the bets that I make, you better listen to me and how easy it is to make it with Bet Saracen. If you go on here, they got all the different specials to choose from, and they continue to come out with more and more each and every day, especially as we get closer to the college football season. So maybe you're thinking, oh, the game time changed. Now I really feel good about Arkansas and their chances to blow out Western Carolina. You can make bets on that. Or maybe you think with the big weekend of college football with the different games and doing some same game parlays, individual prop plays, they have it all. And it's not just for college football, MLB, MLS, NFL, NBA season specials, they have it. So I don't know what you've been doing if you have not downloaded Bet Saracen, but is the only app here in the state of Arkansas that you need when it comes to all your sports betting. And it's really simple to do. All you do is you go on your app store, on your Android or on your iPhone, and search Bet Saracen. Download the app. It's fast and it's convenient. Or you can also visit them online at betsaracen.com and get to betting that way too. So no matter what it is, use Bet Saracen. In fact, I saw one of their new specials is the SEC West winner of the conference division here this season. And if you want to bet on Arkansas, they're plus 3,000 at this point. So
should be more.
Yeah, it should be because, well, Mississippi State's the largest at plus 5,000. Auburn and Arkansas at plus 3,000. Ole Miss at plus 2,000. A&M at plus 550, plus 180 for LSU, and plus 100 for Alabama. So no matter what it is, Bet Saracen's the place. Download the app today. Again, Bet Saracen on the App Store or betsaracen.com. So, yeah, I thought that those lines were pretty fascinating, just considering how things have gone for the SEC West and the pretty much uncertainty about it. But, hey, if you feel like one of those teams that has the long shots to be able to take care of business and win a big one, then maybe you go on bet. Maybe make some money on it, too. But we'll talk about that a lot more as the show goes on. I do want to get to some of our Southern Structural Solutions text line because we have a lot of people coming in hot and discussing not only the game but the temperature and everything. J Stu says it'll only be 2 degrees cooler than what it would have been before. So 2 degrees goes a long way.
Yes, to his point, it's not that much difference, but the main thing is Coach Pittman did mention how he was wanting to be back earlier, and that had a lot to do with this.
Also, from the 501 says there is 0 positive to the noon kickoff. It should be at 6 or 7 if heat is the concern. Hope the athletic department enjoys having 30,000 to the game. I mean,
well, if it's well over 40 already sold, they're not worried about who actually shows up. If you bought a ticket, then show up for the ticket that you bought and go see the team play. If not, it's really not hurting the university if you already bought your ticket and you don't go.
Yeah. In fact, it may even help them because once what we talked about, there could be people that couldn't go before but can go now with the time change that could end up buying tickets. So it could be some positives that way too. And then from the 870, it says, can you explain how to watch the Razorback game and how you get the streaming service it'll be on? Jeez. You watch it because if you have ESPN, you get on the ESPN app on an Apple TV or smart TV, you log in on that, and then you can watch all the games. Or you can go to watchespn.com and you can stream it on the laptop or something. Those are the only ways you can do it, but you have to have ESPN on your cable provider or ESPN Plus. Got to have one of the two. Hopefully that answers your question. Also from 501 says, I think they don't want people drinking and tailgating all day in the heat for a 7 p.m. game. There'd be dead bodies all over the golf course.
That's not that part.
Not
but
that part.
That's true that they do want to look out for the fans to some degree, and not only inside the game but outside.
Yeah, so it is going to be easier to have it earlier based on that part of it alone. And then also from the 501 says, John, so let's get this straight. Ticket sales are not where you would like them. So you change the game time and give a dual threat excuse. Response, I'm raising the BS flag on this one. And honestly, can you really expect fans to make changes on the last minute on the Monday of game week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, some will. And some will, like you were mentioning, John, where some people that didn't have the opportunity to go, they do have it now. And maybe this interferes with some people who had plans for later and or earlier in the day, and they were going to go to the game later. Maybe it does interfere with their plans by moving the game up, and they're not able to make it. So it'll be some give and take on both sides of it.
Oh yeah, and there may be some awkwardness or maybe some uncomfortableness. If that's a word, I'm making it one. But if you were someone that was going to come to the game and say you live 2 hours away. Well, instead of leaving at whatever time you would, you just move it up by 3 hours. I know that might not be ideal, but you can still find a way to go to the games, and you can still find a way to make it. Now if they would have adjusted it from 6 p.m. to 11 a.m. Okay, yeah, that's a huge jump. Or change the day of the game even. But for just 3 hours, I think most people will find ways to make it work for the most part
if they want to.
Yeah,
that's the key.
Yes, if they want to. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Nothing better to get game week going than hearing from Navy Mike. What's up, Navy?
Mike.
Navy. Man, set you up so nicely with that great intro. We'll have to get back, and I'm sure we'll hear from Navy at some point. And also, Joey in Russellville says, y'all making a mountain out of a molehill. Bottom line is those who want to go will. Great point. I agree. I think people who want to go will go. And that's the bottom line. Sound like Stone Cold Steve Austin there, unintentionally. Cole and Poen says, what are the seats like for these tickets you guys are giving away? Excuse me, Cole? You're wanting to know about where the seats are at before you're wanting to get free tickets? You kidding me? How about this? I'll tell you, the seats we're giving away are great seats. You know why? Because they're free 99.
That's all that matters.
And there's not a bad seat at War Memorial Stadium. So, yes, they are great seats that we're going to be giving away here. And over here trying to decide if he wants to get it, just depending on where the seats are at. Come on now, Cole. You know better than that. All right, let's try Navy Mike now. What's up, Navy?
Hey, what's up, John? And what's up, Joe? The whole Navy game, I honestly thought maybe they could, upset that game over in Ireland. But, I can tell you this from a personal experience. You match up the actual U.S. Navy combat team against the Irish Navy, and it will go the exact opposite way. If not worse. So and actually, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish roster probably is 99.9% non-Irish. So, them going over to Dublin, it doesn't really make any sense to me other than, their name is Irish and they're in Ireland. Okay, who cares? But, it's Darren McFadden days away, like you said, John, away from kickoff. And it's just another opportunity for me to point out the fact that, since he, did his thing at Arkansas, you've had guys like Colin Ashley, Quinte Funderburk, Eric Hawkins, Rakeem Boyd, and on defense, a guy like Dorian Gerald who didn't do jack. I mean, it only compounds the fact that this number needs to be put to rest. It needs to be put up in the stadium. Nobody else needs to wear it. And everybody says, Rocket Sanders, he's deserving. Look what he's doing. Well, he wasn't a Heisman finalist last year, and at best, he won't be a Heisman finalist this year. Put that number away. No, he won't. He won't.
Just having some fun with your words there, Navy. At best,
he will not be a Heisman finalist this year. I promise you that. It's a quarterback league. He won't. And so just hang it up, and let it be. It doesn't need to be handed out no more. On defense, that's a different story. But on offense, it's just been, like I said, 4, 5, 6, a dozen different players that didn't live up to that number. Let's stop doing this, And anyways, that's all I got, guys, and y'all take care, man.
Yeah, going out on a limb there as always, Navy. Good to hear from you. No, I don't think anybody, as far as the retirement of number 5, I don't think anybody would take issue with it whatsoever. And I don't think anyone's trying to claim that anyone wearing number 5, deserves to wear number 5. Even Rocket Sanders, I mean, as great as he is, it's one of those things where we've talked about retired numbers before. If they want to retire Darren McFadden's number, I think that they should. I think
everybody would be on board.
Yeah, like no one's going to disagree with it, but they haven't done it yet. So we'll just have to wait and see. Because I don't think, for the most part, especially in college football, I don't think that anyone that's had a retired number has gotten their number retired like as soon as they left campus, where no one else wore it. Like it may have been soon after, but other than, of course, I think Brandon Burlsworth was one because of the tragic accident that he had. And so that was quickly turned around and retired. But I'm sure that there's times where other players wore it after that player, and then for a ceremony or for whatever, then they decided to retire it. That's the point in time when they did it. But yeah, Darren McFadden, when you think number 5, that's who you think of every time. Brent's in Stuttgart. What's up, Brent?
What's up, John and Joe? I got 2 things to tell you. First of all, if I want to get depressed, why do y'all put Navy Mike on the phone to start off the day? That just depresses me.
Yeah,
it's just it's a matter of time when he called in, Brent.
Yeah,
that's it.
Hey, and Kerwin Bell, he was the backup quarterback for the Sacramento Gold Miners of the Canadian Football League when my dad coached there, when they had teams in America.
Nice.
How about that? Well, nice little tidbit there, man.
And our starting quarterback was Dave Archer from the Big 12 Network and the Atlanta Falcons.
Well, very cool. Very cool. Little connection there.
Oh, yeah. But I'm excited for this game. I truly am. It's going to be a good way to get the season started. It doesn't matter what time we start. I'm not going to be in Little Rock, but I'm going to be listening and watching.
Yeah.
How can you sync up your phone where you can hear Chuck and watch the streaming? How do you do that, Joe? Do you know?
You said pick up your phone. Say it again, Brent.
Listen to the game on my phone, but watch it on TV. How can you have it? Can you stream your phone and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You should be able to. Yeah, you should be able to do both. That shouldn't be an issue at all.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all I got today, guys. Y'all have a great day.
All right.
Appreciate it, Brent.
Appreciate it, Brent. Thanks for calling
now,
in.
as far as making it sync, that may be a more difficult task, but just to have it pulled up on your phone and then pull it up on TV, you can do that all day.
Oh, yeah, that's easily. And if you're within the 75-mile radius of here in Little Rock, using the 103.7 The Buzz app, you can stream it live that way. But besides that, I think maybe if you're outside the 70-mile radius, I think the Arkansas Razorbacks app, at least it used to be able to play the games. But we'll try to relay if we find out more information on that. Doug F. in Little Rock says on our Southern Structural Solutions text line, says, I will be listening to the game on the radio and watching another game on TV. I'm 54 and used to listen to the games that weren't on TV on the radio anyway. I could use my imagination. It was like I was there. Suck it up, Buttercup, Woo Pig Suey. I'm with you. I actually like doing that. I did it for basketball games before during the Razorback basketball season, where I'd have the Buzz on during the time, even though it was way ahead of the game broadcast. But I liked hearing what was happening, and then that way I could watch it and see how it all played out. Now, it's probably not something that everybody likes doing, but with the technology today, you can find all different ways of how you want to listen or watch or however. Like it's so available to everybody.
That could be a dangerous thing if you're on the phone with somebody and you happen to be listening and you're hearing it before the play actually happens, and you may react to it in a certain way, and then that person doesn't know on the other end. So as long as you're doing that and you're just not around a bunch of people to ruin something, then that's fine.
Oh yeah, I have a friend of mine that hates the fact that, like, if I'm at the game, for instance, and I'm tweeting about it, he hates that. He unfollows me, and I'm like, you don't have to check Twitter while watching the game.
Exactly.
But he's like,
well, stay away from it.
He's like, I like to see what other people are saying. I was like, well, that's on you then. That's on you. If you have a problem with that, that's a you problem. Let's go to Sam in Arkadelphia. What's up, Sam?
What's up, guys? How are y'all doing?
Doing good.
Doing great, man.
I was talking about listening to it on the app. I did the same thing the whole time during basketball season. I started on my phone and have it on a speaker, and then pause the TV till I lined it up with the radio broadcast on the 103.7 The Buzz app.
Well, see, there you go. Yeah, there's ways that you can, I guess, kind of pause it and then wait for it to catch up, or vice versa.
Exactly what if you can get it, you can get it just down to the T of Chuck. It was his announcement and everything was live with TV, and it is the best. That's the only way to go, to my point of view. Until you can't do it when it's like the NCAA tournament or something like that. But any other game, football, the same. I do the same thing with my TV. I listen to it on the Buzz since it's a little bit behind on the TV broadcast. Oh, it's a great, guys.
All right, well,
nice.
Good. Appreciate that, Sam.
Oh yeah, I just want to let everybody know because shoot, I spread the word all the time. I love the Buzz. Listen to the live broadcast with Chuck.
We love that.
But I thank you guys. Y'all have a great day. Let's go Hogs. Let's get this game on Saturday.
All right.
We appreciate it, Sam.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. Yeah, you can. It's a good idea, too, for those of you who are wondering how to do that. That's probably the best way to go about doing it. Let's see. I know we have just a few minutes before we take another break, though, but we'll have Andrew Ellis on to talk more about the Razorback football game, and also hear from Sam Pittman and some of the things that he had to say there, too. But still, a lot of text messages coming in on the Southern Structural Solutions text line, so keep those coming to 501-661-1037, as well as our Asher Record Live fan feedback, because we had Football Fanatics saying that the game was moved back due to the heat for student athletes, so the team can get home early. It's like saying that Houston Nutt was going to run the spread offense during his tenure at Arkansas. It simply doesn't fit. I don't know about all that, but at least I appreciate the comment on it. Let's see. This also comes from Stan, man. He says, if we kick off in Gainesville at 6 p.m., what time will the team get home? When they go out on Dixon Street, what time will they get home? This might be one of the silliest excuses I've ever heard to alienate Little Rock fans, but Sam can stay up late at his little party the night before the game. Man.
Well, so there are certain things they can control and other things that they can't control. In this case, they can control it. Going to Florida, you can't control that.
That's right, because this is a game, for those of you that may not be aware, since it's only streaming, they have the say on when the game gets played, or at least as far as the time goes. That's one of the deals with the SEC network. He says, because it's streaming, it's not like you have to fit into a window. But that game against Florida is not going to be streaming. So I guarantee you that Sam Pittman, if he had his druthers, would probably like that game to be at 11 a.m. or earlier in the day in Gainesville. But like you said, that the conference is like, okay, well, we're going to look at it from what gives us the best ratings and the money, and then you can figure it out afterwards. Like, you have no say in it, but you do have a say in this one. So that's a good point. And also, yeah, I think Kyle said the same thing there too. And then James is also very upset, where he says they gave us a cupcake, moved the game from 3 to 12. Just heard that they're canceling the game and just giving us the victory. They don't want Little Rock games. Well, they're not going to do that. That's not going to be the case.
Not going to go that far.
No, nothing at all. But I figured there'd be some people pretty upset and pretty emotional about this. But hey, we're still going to have a fun time at the Buzz tailgate. Just as a reminder, folks, since it is game week, we moved it up. I believe it's now to 8 a.m. is when we're going to start being out there at the Buzz tailgate, right behind the Double B's on Markham and Van Buren. And if you go to our website at 1037thebuzz.com, you can claim your free tickets really easy. It's right there on the homepage. You just click it and claim it and show on up, and we'll be out there. And we'll have the pregame show being a part of it.
It starts at 8 a.m. with Baz and Trey Schapp.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I guess I'm having to think about that too. The pregame show starts earlier for us here on the Buzz, but still have the postgame show, fifth quarter show after that. And I still think there'll be a great crowd. Maybe I'm looking at it too optimistically. Maybe I'm thinking about it, too much, but I think it's going to be a great crowd. I think people are going to be happy. You may be upset now, but as the week goes on, you'll be like, all right, well, I'll still be at the game, still see the Razorbacks, still be tailgating. It'll still be fun. It'll be fine once we get there. It's just a matter of getting there to that day.
It'll be interesting to hear from some people if their plans have changed because of this change in the game time. But overall, it'll still be a good crowd. And hopefully they get to the point of possibly selling out War Memorial Stadium. It is the first game of the season. It needs to be a sellout.
It needs to be. And I think that's still going to be a great and raucous crowd. And we're going to help the cause here on Out of Bounds. Again, we'll have some tickets to give away later in the show. We'll give you some details on that. And we'll keep it moving on a Reaction Monday presented by Fleet Management Services here on Out of Bounds. But we'll have a lot more headlines to get into and what's trending in the world of sports and more coming up next. So stay with us.
Not again. Let me tell you about my man Tom. He had some serious bad luck. And one day he said to me, "When is my luck gonna change?" And I was like, "You need to go to Tunica, bro." And he was like, "Yeah, good idea, bro." Tom was winning big money. People were cheering and kissing. My man was like,
"This is amazing."
His losing streak was finally over.
Man, I cannot believe my luck.
Believe it, because when you're in Tunica, you're always a winner.
Hi, I'm Rick Pennington of Lions Drug. We have great news. Generic Cialis is now available at a huge savings. We have Tadalafil, the FDA-approved generic of Cialis, in a 20-milligram tablet at a savings of up to 80%. We have the 5-milligram daily tablets for less than $3 a pill. Lions Drug continues to be your go-to pharmacy for men's health. What are you waiting for? Call us today at 844-676-2247 or go to our website at lionsdrug.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts' new Brake Vest Select Pro brand raises the bar for the best aftermarket domestic brake pads and rotors available. For vehicle-specific friction formulations, Quiet-Tech noise-canceling shims, and stainless steel hardware, choose Brake Vest Select Pro. Professional-grade brakes from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This cardboard order, is it up to date?
Camila's Recyclable Coffee Cup Factory can no longer be considered a grande.
Redesign? It's at the printer.
She needs more designers to jump the business to a triple shot.
Client wants to see several more design options. The logo's got to be bigger.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
At Edwards Food Giant, they know your family is important, and they also know that your time and convenience is as well. So why not take advantage of their heat and eat items in their deli department? Those famous Edwards Food Giant signature dishes with many of the same entrees and recipes that are served daily in the hot bar, all ready to take home and serve to your family tonight. and it can all be found at your favorite Central Arkansas Edwards Food Giant deli. This week's special is Edwards Signature Meatloaf for only $7.49 per pound, with twice-baked potatoes for just $4.99 per pound.
This is Pat Bradley for River City Flooring, where you can pick your payment. Get 0% interest for 12, 24, or 36 months. And River City Flooring in Maumelle is where you'll save 50% on all in-stock waterproof LVP flooring. And did you know River City Flooring carries cabinets? So stop in and let my friends at River City Flooring help you with your remodel. Kitchen, bath, living, dining, they do it all. Check out River City Flooring in Maumelle at their huge new showroom on Maumelle Boulevard just off 430.
This summer, step out of the office and into the iconic with Cadillac. Let the Made to Move sales event inspire you to set your email status to away. And whether it's a stunning sedan or stylish SUV, let Cadillac provide your vehicle of summer liberation, reminding your contact list that you'll connect with them after reconnecting with yourself. Visit your Central Arkansas Cadillac dealers.
Mow, dig, haul, lift. The versatile Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor does it all. Switching attachments is simple, and a smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation. The Kubota BX Series, rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer. River Valley Tractor, closer than you think.
Make your tailgate the party of the parking lot by getting the best meats in all of Arkansas at Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Your brother wants a shot at the Catalina wine mix.
I'm ready. I'm walking tall. You think you're ready to run with the Bulls? I've been earning and burning, snapping necks and cashing checks.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
If you're shopping for a vehicle, you want to get to Gwatney Chevrolet. Gwatney has best deals in the market, been doing it 60-plus years. Give them a call, 501-982-2102. Save up to $9,000 off new Silverados, $2,500 off a new Equinox, and get a Silverado or Equinox at a great rate. 1.9% financing is available. Those are some of the deals available at Gwatney Chevrolet. Make the trip to the Gregory Street exit in Jacksonville. Shop them online, GwatneyChevrolet.com, where you can see all the deals, the cash allowances, the rebates, even appraise a vehicle, see just how much it's worth. They're giving up to $5,000 over or thousands over book value, whether you trade that vehicle in or you sell it directly to Gwatney Chevrolet. Gwatney is always actively buying vehicles, so you get a great deal on a vehicle that you trade in or sell. See the entire inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles on GwatneyChevrolet.com. If you need a service, they have convenient service hours throughout the week. Also, Saturday, 7 a.m. until noon. In case you can't make it throughout the week, it's Gwatney Chevrolet, Arkansas's #1 Chevy dealer. Gwatney Chevrolet, GwatneyChevrolet.com.
It is a Reaction Monday presented by Fleet Management Services here on Out of Bounds. And we're going to have Andrew Ellis for a few minutes in the next hour and get to best and worst of the weekend. Have your Raise Your Hog updates. A lot of things to dive into throughout the rest of the show, but we know there's a lot of other things happening in the sports world, so let's talk about what's trending.
What's trending in the world of sports is sponsored by Arkansas-based West Rock Coffee. Join West Rock Coffee and their 1.5 million coffee farmers around the globe as they fuel Arkansas with great tasting coffee, tea, and water delivered directly to your business. Contact them at westrockcoffee.com or 833-886-JAVA today.
All right, what's trending in the world of sports? So many things going on, but I think without question, one of the biggest news stories that happened earlier in the weekend. How about Trey Lance going to the Cowboys? Just like, we all predicted, obviously. But I think it's a great get for the Cowboys. And, they've been looking to try to make a move with getting a better quarterback in the backup role and the Dak Prescott. But I like the move for themselves. We'll see if how much playing time he gets or if any playing time. But I thought it was smart by Jerry Jones.
They didn't give up a lot. They gave up only a 4th-round pick. And now they'll have some options through the development of Trey Lance. And is this the beginning of the end for Dak? Maybe, maybe not, but the options are there.
All it's going to take is Dak's struggling a little bit in the go ahead, and then suddenly fans are like, maybe we need to try out that other guy that we got that was a top 5 pick in the NFL draft.
Well, the thing about it is Dak is looking for a contract extension, and the way he's played over the past couple of seasons, is that something that's deserving? And you could hear from Dak's comments that he wants to get a deal done, and he was caught by surprise that they did make this move, but it's business.
That's right. And hey, if he's a competitor, he feels confident in his game, and he's going to go out there and he's going to perform, and it shouldn't be a problem. But again, for the Cowboys' sake, I think it's a good move. But I think, what was it, a 4th-round pick, right? That's what they gave up for?
Yep.
Great deal, in my opinion. Also, in some other news, especially with the NFL, I laughed about this. So I see the headline about how Matthew Stafford is struggling to gel with the new young Ram players that are out there. I was like, oh, okay. But the thing is it wasn't really necessarily a quote that came from Matthew Stafford. It was actually from his wife, Kelly Stafford. She says, quote, "It's kind of crazy. So Matthew's been in the league a long time. He's like, the difference in the locker room has changed so significantly. They have a lot of rookies on their team. They're very young, but he's like, I feel like I can't really connect with them." And this was said on her own podcast.
Gosh, please stop.
Yeah. So I'm like, what are you doing?
Stop it.
What are you doing here, Kelly? I know you got a podcast and all, but
you can't be giving away family secrets.
And like she continued on saying, in the old days, you'd come out of practice, you'd shower, and people would be playing cards, interacting. Who knows what they're doing? But they're doing something together. But playing ping pong or having a tournament, whatever's going on, they'd at least be talking. But now they get out of practice and meetings during training camp, and they go straight to their phones. No one looks up from their phones. Matthew's like, I don't know. Am I like a dad? Do I take their phones? What do I do here? He's like, I want to see them not to see me as a coach. So
now maybe he did let her know that this is fine. This is okay to discuss that. And he's sending the message through the media, which happens at times. But if she just did that on her own, then that's no good.
No. And I'm hoping that he was aware that she would be bringing up this discussion. That's what I'm hopeful for. But I guess we'll see when I'm sure he's asked about it at some point in time. Be like, hey, your wife's saying this on her podcast. What does that mean?
Because if they're talking at home and this is something that they're discussing, you have to leave that within the walls of that home and not put it out there for everybody to hear.
Not only that, but, as she mentioned, he's been in the league a long time. They've been married for a long time. I feel like maybe something like that would be established. That's why I'm thinking maybe he said it was okay. Because it's not like her first rodeo of him being a quarterback in the NFL, but certainly some interesting comments. Over the weekend, though, you also had some college football action in week 0. Nothing was way too surprising, but as we mentioned, Notre Dame did smoke Navy 42-3 over there in Ireland, so kind of a cool atmosphere there. And then on the SEC side of things, a game that was delayed way too long, but Vanderbilt does get the victory over Hawaii 35-28. That game was, I think, it was delayed over an hour. And then you had all the construction there at Vanderbilt Stadium where Hawaii had to change and have a locker room inside of a tent. And there wasn't a huge crowd.
Do what it takes.
Yeah, they did it. And then there's a huge crowd because of the weather and all that. I was like, man, that's it. That's got week 0 written all over it. That type of game. And a lot of mistakes made by Vanderbilt, but give Tommy Chang and credit to Hawaii coming over there and making it a game, especially in lates. But Vanderbilt was able to come away with the victory. And the game that you probably didn't watch unless you had the Pac-12 network, USC takes care of business against San Jose State 56-28. Now, USC's defense struggled, and it was 21-14 there in the first half. Granted, first game of the year, a lot of things can happen. And Caleb Williams, the Heisman Trophy winner from last season, was phenomenal as he goes 18-25 for 278 yards and 4 touchdowns and no picks. But certainly something that USC doesn't want to see happen again is not having a great defense. They know their offense can score. They know Lincoln Riley's going to have an offense that can go. But if they don't get some of those defensive flaws shaped up, it could be a tough one in the Pac-12 because we know this year at least, maybe not next year because it's not going to exist. They have a lot of good teams in there. And if they want to get into the college football playoff, they got to have a good defense to go along with that stellar offense.
First game of the season, they have time to work out some kinks.
Oh yeah, they have plenty of time. And also, did you know that like Rich Rodriguez was coaching at Louisiana? I had no idea.
No, it's hard to keep up with some of the.
Not Louisiana, sorry, Jacksonville State. Sorry, but
yes, actually, yes.
Okay, yeah. If I get the team right, yes. Because I saw his press conference or saw some clip on social media that there was a press conference. I'm like, are you still here? He's still around, but. Still coaching there at Jacksonville State. Got a big victory over the weekend and
still has the desire to coach and that offensive mind and the schemes. And things that he brings to the table in college football. So it's good to see that he's still doing his thing.
Still doing it. And also in some other college football news, off the field mainly, but Arizona State, they're not going to be having any postseason football in 2023, regardless of their record, because they informed the Pac-12 that they have self-imposed a one-year bowl ban after the school references the ongoing NCAA investigation into violations under former coach Herm Edwards. So Arizona State will not be in any sort of postseason this year, which is probably the best move for them, to be honest. And also I saw that, I guess you want to call it trending. Is it true that the Texas Rangers have blown a 10-game division lead in in less than a month?
The Astros weren't far behind them to begin with. They weren't 10 games ahead of the Astros. They couldn't have been that far ahead.
That's the story I read. It says it says the Rangers blown a 10-game lead in the West in a little over a month, and they are imploding. So they said I'd have to go back and check.
Yeah, but
still.
So they made some trades and everything. They didn't have a 10-game lead when they made the trades.
Okay, well, they had a lead and they don't anymore. But when I saw 10 games, I'm like, man, surely that's not possible. I don't care how hot the other team is. You can't be blowing a 10-game division lead in just a little over a month, especially at this point in time in Major League Baseball. But either way, we'll have some more headlines to dive into. We'll have Andrew Ellis of hogsports.com joining us on the other side of the break. Keep it moving on Reaction Monday, presented by Fleet Management Services here on Out of Bounds. Stay with us.
Tune in to hear what the head hog has to say each Wednesday with the Sam Pittman Show, brought to you by Chris Crane Hyundai of Conway, Arkansas's #1 Hyundai dealer.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites.
If you haven't stopped by Arch Marine lately, you are literally missing the boat. And no boat is complete without a Tohatsu motor. Arch Marine in North Little Rock has them ranging from 3.5 to 140 horsepower. That's Arch Marine in North Little Rock. Take the Levy exit.
Morning Mayhem joins David Dunn and crew Tuesday morning along with Bruce James at Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer on Balcom Industrial Drive in North Little Rock. It's Morning Mayhem Tuesday at Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer on 103.7 The Buzz.
103.7 The Buzz, your exclusive Razorback headquarters in Central Arkansas. KABC Little Rock. Buzz News with Channel 7's Ryan Houston.
In Hot Springs, over 100 volunteers are looking for 20-year-old Amir Ellis, who was kidnapped back in May. People searched the area in the thick mountain forest north of Jesseville in Garland County. The 115-degree heat Saturday was too much for the canines, and they had to go back. Before leaving, searchers found bones scattered down a hillside that appeared to be a large animal. If the bones found are not determined to be Amir's, the plan is to have another search next Saturday. In Jefferson County, authorities are conducting a death investigation after the body of an unidentified man was found on the banks of the Arkansas River. Deputies were called to an area off of Bartlett Road around 5:15 p.m. That's where the body was found in the water. There were no obvious signs of foul play, and they believe the death was either medical or drowning related. The body was sent to the Arkansas State Crime Lab for an autopsy. From the Channel 7 Newsroom, I'm Ryan Houston.
Clint Sterner joins Justin and Wes in the zone courtesy of Motorsports Authority. Motorsports Authority has 2 great locations with hundreds of vehicles to choose from. Check them out online at msastore.com. Clint Sterner in the zone brought to you by Motorsports Authority on your fun and game station, 103.7 The Buzz.
Weather from the Fletcher Weather Center with Channel 7's Melinda Mayo.
We get to hang on to these more comfortable temperatures most of this week. Today's high around 89 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Tonight's low drops down to a very comfortable 68. Low 90s expected then for Tuesday and Wednesday. From the Channel 7 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Melinda Mayo.
Today's special at Benihana, lunch only hibachi chicken, $14.95, which includes Benihana soup and our famous fried rice. Come see us at lunch.
This is Pat Bradley for Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union. Summer's coming to an end soon, and so will the great summer auto loan special from Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union. Hurry to take advantage of rates as low as 2.49%. 84 months financing and no payments for 90 days. Apply online at alcoacommunityfcu.org.
Listen for NFL Hall of Fame referee Walt Coleman Wednesdays during Morning Mayhem, presented by Sigma Supply Packaging Products. Schedule a free waste audit analysis with Sigma Supply's sales manager, David Breitenberg, and see if automation is a solution to your production line issues. Online at sigmasupply.com. If you're not using Sigma Supply, you got low-grade product, man.
It's Justin Anker reminding you that CertaPro Painters is here to help you as we transition from summer into fall. And if you're thinking about doing something to the outside of your home, maybe it's long overdue, CertaPro Painters is here to help. Have them come over, give you an estimate, and they can help walk you through the process of what it'll take to get it done. They can help you out with the color selection and everything else you need to get the job done right. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. For your home, for your business, get your place looking right with the help of my friends at CertaPro Painters.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
See Shelter agent Steve Ferguson in Little Rock, Todd Session in Morrilton, or Kyle Stone in Pine Bluff.
Roger Scott is warming up those vocal cords to bring you the Razorback Song of the Week on Morning Mayhem. Presented by Dr. Jimmy Tucker at Ortho Arkansas and 103.7 The Buzz.
This is Pat Bradley for Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union. Summer's coming to an end soon, and so will the great summer auto loan special from Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union. Hurry to take advantage of rates as low as 2.49%. 84 months financing and no payments for 90 days. Apply online at alcoacommunityfcu.org.
And ESPN Radio Extra Point with Teron Davenport.
I could definitely see Dak being unhappy about this or not pleased, because here it is. I'm supposed to be the guy.
Right.
And you're bringing in someone else who has that first round sticker, that top 5 pick sticker on him. You're bringing him in. What does this say? And then knowing that in 2 years now, in 2 years, there's a way to have a split and it be somewhat reasonable, and then go figure in those 2 years, they can exercise that option, the 5th-year option on Trey Lance. So you have to wonder, like, is this something that you guys are doing, knowing that we're discussing some things about an extension? Are you doing this as leverage against me, as insurance in case we can't hammer a deal out? That's what I would be wondering if I was Dak.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab of Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com.
Live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios, this is Out of Bounds.
Well, game week, obviously, and we're excited to have an opportunity to get over to Little Rock and play Western Carolina. Kerwin and Cade Bell do a wonderful job with that team offensively. I think they set records. Always first games are scary because of the unknown about the opponent, unknown this year about our own team. But we're really excited to get over there and play a fine Western Carolina team.
Yeah. With John Nabors.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
And Joe Franklin.
We won't go in the shell. We're going to go in attack mode because that's what's required.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Girl, I can buy your Westie world with my base stuff. I know that it's good. Won't you sit it on my taste buds? I get way too bendy once you let me do the extras. Pull up on your block and break it down. We playing Tetris. AM to the PM, PM to the AM phone. Eat up your per diem. You just gotta hate them phone. If I quit your BM, we like to keep it on the high note. It's levels to it, you and I know. Tell them be humble. Sit down. 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 Be humble. Sit down.
1 hour down, 2 hours to go. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you as always for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. It has been a great Reaction Monday presented by Fleet Management Services, folks. So I know there's been a lot of things going on people's minds. And just as a reminder for Fleet Management Services, they're looking for a new maintenance tech, oil changes, tires, general maintenance, all going to be things required. So if you're interested in that, call over at 501-375-3672 to get a job with Fleet Management Services. You're great people over there.
Had a chance to see Matt Morris from Fleet Management Services yesterday, his son Gannon, Joel Reddick, Leslie Reddick's husband, our sales manager here, at a fantasy football draft party yesterday.
Nice.
So had a good time there. Drafting for Dino once again, Chris Palladino at Channel 7K TV, and he actually won the league last year. So hoping for the same success this year. But great time hanging out with them yesterday. And yeah, once again, Fleet Management Services, if you're interested, give them a call, 501-375-3672. That's for a maintenance tech, and that's general maintenance. It's a great opportunity.
Are they the ones that are with that draft that he won? Is it like one you can hold over players from the previous year? Or is it like fresh?
No, it's fresh every year.
Okay. Because I know a few of friends of mine that are in some of these fantasy leagues, or they call like dynasty leagues, where they hold them over for like 5 years. Like a buddy of mine has had Aaron Rodgers on his team for like 4 straight seasons. So I was like, all right, well, hey, whatever works. But yeah, it is that time of year too with a lot of fantasy football.
So Joel Reddick, they always tease him because he is a Jets fan about drafting Jets players. He actually stayed away. He didn't draft Aaron Rodgers. He did end up drafting somebody, but when you get later in the rounds and you're talking about a 16-team league and his limited options, he did lean on some Jets players, but he didn't get Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he got Garrett Wilson. So he stayed away, I guess, because they've been, kind of poking at him, and he went in a different direction.
Yeah. Well, Joel's one of the few other Jets fans that I actually know. And so I've always tried to stay away from Jets players, mainly because, most of them weren't that good. But there were a few that I thought about it, but I made the mistake of one year getting Brett Favre when he had that 1 year at the Jets, which was great for fantasy for about, 8 weeks. And then it went crashing down pretty quickly. But I know it's time of year for that and fantasy football drafts. And that's an exciting time. I'm trying to get back into it. I was into it a long time ago, but still trying to slowly and surely get back into it, especially when it's got some money on the line. That always makes it a lot more fun. But we know with it being Razorback football game week, just 5 days away, Western Carolina, first up right here at War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock. And I know people are pumped up and excited, even with the time change. But let's talk more about that as we go to the phone lines here with Andrew Ellis of hogsports.com, friend of the show. Andrew, as always, man, appreciate you joining us. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Really looking forward to finally being in game week and having something real to talk about instead of, just speculating on what we can gather from 20 minutes of fall camp practices.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's going to be something to actually have some substance to. And there's a few things that Sam Pittman mentioned today I know we'll dive into. But first off, your thoughts, the game time change. We got people that, not everybody, but there are people that are here in the Central Arkansas area that are very upset, don't like it, don't like the fact that it's moved up to noon. What do you make of the time change? And do you believe truly that it's all just about the student athletes and about the heat and just adjusting the time there?
I thought it was really weird that they mentioned the heat and the humidity and all that. And so they're like, we're going to have it at noon so that like the end of the game will be entering that peak heat time. I didn't really understand that. When we heard Sam Pittman talk later today about how he really wanted to get them back in time, he really didn't want to have a night game to where they would be getting back at 2, 3 in the morning in Fayetteville. And that makes sense. And if they had just said that, that would have been perfectly fine. It's like, hey, we don't want to play a night game. We really just don't want to do that. We took a bus here. We don't have to take a bus back late at night. I'm all cool with that. I just thought it was weird that they were like, yeah, we're going to do this because of heat, and we're going to play at noon. So I thought that was a little weird, but hearing what Sam Pittman had to say afterwards, I was okay with that. And I thought it was really funny where he was like, "Yeah, I really don't care about tailgaters," which I'm sure that'll make some people mad, but also if you're Sam Pittman, why would you care? But I think the atmosphere was going to be probably pretty lackluster either way, and I don't expect that to change because they're playing Western Carolina and it's going to be 120 degrees. So I don't hate them wanting to get through it as quickly as they can.
Andrew, you mentioned bussing in and bussing back. There have been times that the team has bussed in but then flown back, and don't know if that's the case this time around, but a lot of times that is the approach that they take. So getting back sooner, they would be able to get back a lot sooner if they did actually fly back.
Yeah, and I don't know what goes into those decisions, but from what I can tell and from what Sam Pittman was saying, they are busing there and back. They've got so many road trips this year. They pretty much don't play any games at home at Fayetteville. So I guess, they have so many flights going on that they had to cut back. I don't know how those decisions get made, but it does seem like they're busing there and busing back. And so if you're busing back, I get it to an extent, but it is a little bit unfortunate, and I think it probably will have an effect on the game day atmosphere. I think if you were going to try to have the best atmosphere possible, that night game would be, ideal. It would get you out of the heat and all that, and then you could kind of figure out the travel. But I think Sam Pittman was just really focused on getting back as quickly as possible and having as much time to rest because, like I mentioned, they're going to have to travel a lot this year. So anywhere where they can make their travel better, I think they're going to take that opportunity, especially for a game like this against Western Carolina that is not going to be on like a national scale. And like I said, I don't think the atmosphere was going to be this awesome, raucous environment, regardless of what happened. So I think, doing it at noon, I think this is almost them admitting that they're just trying to get over this as quickly as they can.
So, Andrew, just a few things that stood out, at least from the game notes, because I know we just have you for a few minutes today, but the depth chart was officially released. I know at Hawk Sports, you guys always put together a depth chart of what you saw in practices and whatnot, but we have the official one. Was there anything that stood out to you as far as any major surprises or things that were pretty curious about the 2 deep?
Well, initially, one thing that caught my eye was Jaden Wilson being listed as an 4 next to Isaiah Satania. I always just kind of assumed Satania would be the go-to, no-doubt starter at the slot. And then Jaden Wilson got hurt last week in practice. And when he got hurt, it really looked like at the moment, I remember going home thinking like, man, he must be out for the year. He was really in pain, all that. I thought his injury was going to be horrible. Now, not only is he listed as a potential starter on the depth chart, but then Sam Pittman said today they're expecting him to play in week 1. So that was a little surprising, but I don't know. I think some people were probably stunned by seeing Francis Sherman as the second tight end with no Orr next to him and then seeing that whole group below him with Gums and Bax and Tyrus Washington. But Francis Sherman, it seems like he's going to play a lot, and I think we talked about him a little bit on the show a few weeks ago, and I think that was really cool. Not seeing Manny Powell was a little bit of a surprise, but I think that's an indication of kind of how things have developed in the linebacker room this fall. And I was surprised to see Pooh Paul listed as an Orr, but Pittman clarified that later that a lot of those Orrs are basically just because you don't know if one guy's going to be healthy, and so until then it's just a little bit up in the air. Seems like the only real position battle left is at left tackle with Devin Manuel and Andrew Chambly, and safety with Jaden Johnson and Hudson Clark, all 4 of whom are probably going to play a good bit on Saturday. So I expect these depth chart conversations to keep happening.
Andrew, what's available as far as from an access standpoint for the rest of the week with coaches and players?
So we talked to Pittman, just like an hour ago. We're going to get to go to practice later today. Thankfully, it won't be as hot as it's been. I think they're all going to be back outside today, so that'll be nice. So we'll get to see a little bit of practice today, a little bit of practice tomorrow, and then we'll hear from 2 players, I think, maybe 2 to 4 players, maybe 2 groups of players. I don't know who the players will be, but, I'm assuming maybe KJ, Rocket, and some of those typical guys for week 1. And then, Wednesday we'll get to hear from Pittman one last time, and that's pretty much it. It's time to play.
Speaking of Andrew Ellis of hogsports.com here on the phone line. So, Andrew, what can you tell us about the Western Carolina Catamounts? Because, we know a lot about the opponents in the SEC, but these non-conference opponents, kind of unique, especially one that Arkansas's never played before. So what can you tell us about them and what can people expect?
Well, John, I heard you earlier saying that y'all are going to have the head coach on tomorrow, and I can't imagine the success rate is really high for opposing teams that have their coaches doing local radio the week of the game. I feel like that's not usually a great sign.
No, I mean, listen, they do it all the time on Out of Bounds because they're like, oh, when Out of Bounds calls, we got to get on that show. Like that happens all the time.
Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. I must have missed Nick Saban's interview last year, but I'll look forward to seeing this one this year. But no, they're coming off of a pretty solid year. This team has not won a ton in the last 5-6 years, but they're entering year 3 under their current head coach, and they took a little bit of a step forward last year. Got to 6 wins. They're going to try to keep that going. I was surprised when I looked at just how impressive their numbers were offensively. I mean, they were averaging nearly 500 yards a game on offense. They were airing the ball out, over 300 yards passing. And so this can be very interesting. I mean, obviously this is a test Arkansas should pass with flying colors, but, for Arkansas to show that they're really improved in the secondary, this is a nice little test if you're having an opponent that's really going to like to air it out and see what they can do. And they returned 6 of their starters offensively, so it's not like a complete no, I'm not expecting Arkansas to completely shut this team out, but I think Arkansas should be able to score at will in this one, and I don't think, there's going to be too many surprises here.
What would be an ideal flow to the game as far as how much we want to see from the starters and getting some of the other players involved in the game plan?
Yeah, I mean, I think it all comes down to score. I mean, until that score gets big enough, I think that the Arkansas is going to be full systems go. But I think there's no doubt that once you get around halftime, you start doing the math and start thinking of who might come in win. And I really want to see Jacoby Criswell play a good bit. And obviously he's a 4th-year junior. It's not like he's a freshman that's never been on a college football field, but it would be really good to see him out in the Razorback uniform. And I also want to see him get in early enough to where he's not just handing the ball off to run the clock down. I really want to see him in action. And really all these transferred defenders, I mean, there's not a ton of freshmen that we're expecting to play huge roles, but there's just so many newcomers on both sides of the ball. So I really think that, there's going to be enough intrigue with some of these new guys in the first couple of quarters anyway. But once that score gets out of hand, I think it'll be nice to get some of these young guys in there and kind of make their claim for some more playing time down the stretch. And, over the next 3 weeks, Arkansas could have a lot of comfortable leads. So, we'll see if any of these young guys can kind of make an early case for playing time in week 1.
All right, before I let you get out of here, Andrew, real quick, you don't have to go into full-fledged predictions, but as far as this upcoming game and maybe the season, you got one skill position player to bank on and being a first-team All-SEC player, and it can't be Rocket Sanders. Who would be your bet?
Now, I'm not saying he's definitely going to be first-team All-SEC. Just I think he's probably the biggest wild card on the roster in terms of I don't think some people really understand how good he is. And look, we haven't seen him play a college game. Maybe I'm just hyping him up too much, but I really think that, I think it says a lot that he was first team on the depth chart at tight end, and there wasn't there wasn't we're going to try to move him up. This is the best tight end on our team. He's the most consistent. He's the best blocker, best receiver, best everything. I think it really says a lot about what kind of skill set he has and what they're expecting from him. And so I think if there was someone who was going to be a surprise first-team All-SEC kind of guy, among those skill position guys, I really think it has.
Well, Andrew Ellis, as always, we appreciate it, man. Enjoy the week, and we look forward to having you down here in Little Rock for the game on Saturday, all right?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing you guys.
All right, appreciate it. Again, that was Andrew Ellis of hogsports.com joining us on the phone lines, getting us ready for game week this week, as the game will be, as we said, at noon on Saturday against the Western Carolina Catamounts. But, so we're looking forward to that. And I know we have a lot of other things to get into the show today, but I tell you what, we can go ahead and give a family 4-pack of tickets to the Arkansas-Western Carolina game because I have a trivia question. It's not too difficult either. It's not too difficult. I think most people should get this. So if you want to have a chance to win a family 4-pack to the Razorback football game this Saturday against Western Carolina, call in. We'll line them up 501-661-1037. Because unlike some people who are really upset about not being able to go to the game in the way that they wanted or not being able to tailgate the way that they wanted, hey, you're still going to have a chance for some free tickets to at least get to the game. Right there, that saves you, see, if I'm doing my math correctly, which you always have to double check me on everything pretty much, but you're talking about that's saving you close to $200 because for 4 tickets to the game with fees and all that stuff, close to $200. So there's you go. So if you were like, oh man, I can't because I can't afford it, it's too much money. Well, how about this? You're saving some $200. So therefore you can maybe stay in a hotel, or maybe you can afford that gas, or maybe afford some of the meals that go along with it. There's different ways to go about and doing it. But that's what maybe I'm looking at it differently. But that's how I look at it, Joe. It's like $400 or not $400, $200 is what it saves you. That's a lot of money. in the long run, especially for those who want to travel up for the game.
Yeah, that's quite a bit, but just getting free tickets overall.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't beat that. Whenever there's something that's given away, take advantage of it.
That's right. So what I always say is, what are the best tickets? The free tickets. What are the best beers? The free beers. Free is always something we can relate to, be excited about, and be interested in. So let's go ahead and kick it off. Let's see if Kyle in Little Rock, he'll be get the first crack at it. Kyle, what's up, man? You ready for a chance to win a family 4-pack to the Razorback game this weekend against Western Carolina?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Ready to shot.
All right. So here's your trivia question. Again, it's not too difficult, but it's something that has to deal with, of course, these games being at War Memorial Stadium. So Arkansas is opening up the season here in War Memorial Stadium. Can you name the last opponent that Arkansas opened up the season against in War Memorial Stadium, where the first game of the year was against this opponent at War Memorial? Can you name who the opponent was?
Was it UAPB?
No, it was UAPB. They did play in Little Rock 2 years ago, but that didn't open the season. It's against UAPB. So, yeah, appreciate you calling in. We'll have more opportunities for you to win tickets. And so to give another hint, because I like to help it out with people, the year was in 2017. So 2017 was the year when you opened up the season at War Memorial Stadium. Let's try Jordan in Little Rock. Jordan, you got an answer for us?
Florida A&M?
I'm sorry?
Florida A&M.
Florida A&M?
That is right. Correct. It was Florida A&M back on a Thursday night in 2017. Arkansas won 49-7, and they took care of business. That one, that was a game that me and Joe always laugh about because the Florida A&M team had the uniforms where they weren't supposed to wear them, so they got penalized with a personal foul at the beginning of every quarter for 15 yards. But yeah, Jordan, you got it right. Congratulations. You get the family 4-pack to see the Razorbacks in Western Carolina this weekend.
Thank y'all so much. Golly.
Hey, no problem, Jordan. Hey, let me ask you, though. Could you have gone if it was 3 o'clock noon? Didn't matter the time, you would have gone?
Oh, I don't give a damn. I'm going to be there regardless.
Boom. That's what we like to hear, man. That's what we like to hear. So congrats, Jordan. We'll put you on hold, man. We'll get your information, and we'll get those tickets to you.
All right. Thank y'all again.
Yeah, appreciate it. So that's the type of fans that we want to give tickets away to. They don't care what time the game's at. They don't care where the game's at. They don't care who the opponent is. Come hell or high water, they're always going to make sure that they go out there and check out the games because they are Razorback fans. So we'll have more tickets to give away, though, folks. That's the thing, is we have tickets. So if you didn't get a chance to win them today, just continue to listen throughout the week, not only to our show here on Out of Bounds, but also all the shows, because all of them are going to be doing some ticket giveaways. And whether you're going to be going to the tailgate or maybe, you have some friends and family that will really want to go and you're already going and you wanted them to go with you to the tailgate, but they're like, oh, we don't have tickets. That'll be your chance to do it too. So we'll do some different things, though. We may do trivia. We may do some social media stuff. We may do some video streaming stuff to have some real fun with it. So we'll get pretty creative here and make sure that we get out those tickets because we have plenty of them to give out. Before we take a break, though, I know on our Southern Structural Solutions text line, this one comes from Doug F. in Little Rock. He says, I had a heat stroke golfing a few weeks ago. I spent 3 days in the hospital. The more I think about it, I really want to go to the game. In your personal opinion, do you think I should sit this one out? True story. Well, Doug, first off, glad you're okay, because having a heat stroke is no joke at all. Especially, you said in earlier text that you're 54 years old. That ain't nothing to mess with. So glad you're okay. Hopefully your golf game was good that day, at least. But, man, going to the game. I've always said that if you can go to a game, no matter what, go. Because you never know what could happen. You never know. It could end up being one of the greatest games ever. You could see a record-breaking performance. No matter what, if you have a chance to go, go. But in this particular case, my man, if you had a heat stroke 3 weeks ago, I know it's not going to be as hot as what it was 3 weeks ago. I mean, I don't want to tell you what to do, but, man, that'd be something to where you better make sure that you're, plenty hydrated and you're maybe going into the shade during timeout, something like that. But I don't know, man. I don't put that on us to try to tell you or give you ideas of what you need to do, because that's asking a lot. So it's up to you, Doug. But You know, Razorback fans sometimes will just find ways to go to the games no matter what. But I still expect a great attendance, still expect a great time, great atmosphere. And we're going to continue to have a great show here on a Reaction Monday presented by Fleet Management Services, because coming up next, we'll get to best and worst of the weekend, some of the highlights and the low lights that we saw, and more of your phone calls and text messages at 501-661-1037. More Out of Bounds up next.
Anywhere in the state, dial 888-8888 for Rainwater Holton Sexton. They'll help you weather the storm.
This is Sports Center.
Robert Perez Jr. hit a 3-run home run in the bottom of the 9th inning for the Arkansas Travelers yesterday, but it was too little too late in a 6-5 loss to the Wichita Wind Surge at Dickey Stevens Park. Wichita built a 5-0 lead thanks to a 2-run home run from Aaron Sabato, a solo shot from Yoimer Fajardo, and an RBI triple from Tanner Scoble before RBI groundouts from Josh Morgan and Spencer Packard got the Travs on the board. Arkansas is off today, but they'll start a series in Tulsa tomorrow night. Moving to Major League Baseball, the Chicago Cubs took 3 of 4 from the Pittsburgh Pirates with a 10-1 win yesterday. One of those wins came from Conway native Jordan Wicks on Saturday. He retired 15 in a row at one point and finished with 9 strikeouts. I'm Todd Pierce for the Buzz Radio Network.
This is Pat Bradley for Brewski's. Brewski's is the spot for lunch downtown. Burgers, wings, sandwiches, loaded fries, and healthy options like wraps and salads. Prepared from scratch daily and made hot and fresh to order. Happy hour starts at 11 a.m. and those drink specials go with everything on the menu. Brewski's, you're home for lunch, happy hour, and late night. This is Pat Bradley for Brewski's. Monday night is poker night with 2 games nightly, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. only at Brewski's.
Jackalope Cycling is passionate about the Arkansas outdoors. To help you enjoy this beautiful state, Jackalope offers an array of bike rentals to get you on the trails.
What about fly fishing from a bicycle?
You can't do that, but Jackalope also offers fly rods, reels, waders, fly fishing accessories, outdoor and camping gear.
Yeah, it'll be tough riding a bicycle in waders.
But you can still enjoy the Arkansas outdoors with Jackalope Cycling in Russellville or jackalopecycling.com.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start. Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV?
What? No way, dude. Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
See Agent Steve Ferguson in Little Rock, Bo Beavis in Cabot, or Daniel Vickers in Sherwood.
Stacked Commercial Truck and Trailer has 5 service trucks available, providing you on-site service to get you back on the road. If that doesn't do it, Stacked has a new state-of-the-art 13-bay shop for service and repair on all Class A trucks, trailers, RVs, light and medium-duty commercial vehicles, tires, brakes, AC, engine repair, transmissions, differentials, and driveline repair. Stacked Commercial Truck and Trailer Repair. Get Stacked, 2 miles off 530, exit 34 in Whitehall.
This is David Dunn with Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer. Do you own or operate Max, Volvos, Freightliners, Kenworths, Peterbilts, or international trucks? We can offer you the same dealership level computer diagnostics with highly trained and professional mechanics without dealership wait times and cost. Whether you're a municipality, fleet, or small business with one truck, come see why our customers have made us the highest rated independent repair shop in Arkansas. Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer. Take exit 7 on I-440 or call 568-2185.
Have a watch party that everyone wants to attend at your house with the best of meats in the business. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Trying to reach the green from here, shooter?
That's not possible, sir.
I beg to differ. Happy Gilmore accomplished that feat no more than an hour ago.
Well, moron, good for Happy Gilmore. Oh, my God.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
It's a great time to get to Twin Peaks for happy hour 2 to 7, later happy hour 10 to close. Enjoy all the food and drink specials that go along with it. Get a lunch combo starting as low as $7.99. If you want to take some food to go, you can order online, curbside, or to go, courtesy of Postmates, DoorDash, and Uber Eats. Great drink specials during happy hour. Apps for $2, $4, and $6. Twin Peaks has plenty of seating inside and out. Wall-to-wall TVs to see all the sports action. And there is a lot of sports action coming up this week with college football on Thursday and taking us into the Labor Day weekend. Razorback game Saturday at noon. So great place to watch is Twin Peaks. And when you walk through the doors at Twin Peaks, you can see their exclusive and extensive collection of rare bourbons, whiskeys, and tequilas. If you want to get that fantasy football draft party going, Twin Peaks is a place to have it. Get registered online for it today. TwinPeaksRestaurant.com/fantasy draft. Commissioner gets a $5 bonus card. Every additional drafter gets a $5 bonus card. Plenty of food and drinks there at Twin Peaks to enjoy that fantasy football draft party. It's Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
It is a Reaction Monday presented by Fleet Management Services here on Out of Bounds. Appreciate everybody listening in. And once again, we'll have plenty of tickets to give away the rest of the week and all of our shows here on 103.7 The Buzz for Arkansas and Western Carolina. So continue to hear more about that. And also, we had a text from the Southern Structural Solutions text line from the 501 says, out of curiosity, what was wrong with the Florida A&M uniforms that they weren't supposed to wear where they got penalized every quarter for wearing it? If I wasn't mistaken, Joe, it was that they had white uniforms and the letters and numbers were white.
Yeah.
With like a green outline or something like that.
It was hard to see on the jersey. That it was a cool looking jersey with the outline, but they prefer that if you're wearing lighter color jersey, you wear dark numbers so it offsets and it's really easy to see the number.
Yeah, because it makes it hard for officials to know what number the penalties were on. It makes it hard for the broadcasters to know who's who at times. So it just makes it so much easier. But I don't know what's worse, having that on your uniforms and trying to figure out who's who, or like I'll never forget a time. Nobody cares about this too much, but I had to call, I think it was like a Bentonville versus Chino Hills. It was Malik Monk versus the Ball brothers, if you can believe it, in a basketball game. I was on the radio broadcast, and Bentonville had black uniforms because that was their color, and Chino Hills had dark navy uniforms, and they wore them at the same time. I couldn't figure out who was who. So just for the broadcasting perspective, it makes it a lot easier when you can really see those numbers and know who's doing what and what's happening. Because that was something which was cool. Because again, he was like Malik Monk going up against the Ball brothers and seeing Lonzo and everybody before they really became, the sensation that they were.
So did they both have white numbers on those jerseys?
Yes, or it wasn't white. No, because that was the other thing. So Bentonville had gold.
Okay, so that was the way to tell it. The minor difference there, but gold versus white, it would have been a little bit easier like that.
Yeah.
But if it was two dark color uniforms, especially that close, black and really dark blue, and they both have white numbers, it's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah. I think it was more just about where they set up my radio play-by-play up in the, nosebleeds, and that's so I couldn't see that well as it was. And so having to really look down and focus, I was like, couldn't y'all, because it was like a 3-game event or 3-day event. I was like, couldn't y'all I don't know, just talk to each other if they came out and be like, hey guys, do you have some, wear your uniforms from yesterday, or however. You could have figured out some sort of way to make it a little bit easier, but nobody cared.
They wanted to make it difficult. Yeah. That's what that was.
Also, they didn't care about what the random radio guy had to say because it wasn't on TV or anything. They didn't care about any of that. But yeah, it's important. It's definitely important to make sure that you have the uniforms in check so you don't get any personal foul calls. And I'm sure Western Carolina is going to make sure that they do that. Before we get to best worst of the weekend, let's go to Jamie and Atkins. What's up, Jamie?
Hey, guys, I'm just calling it doesn't matter to me either way. I'm not going to be able to go to the game. I'll have to watch it online, but how much cooler is it going to be at 12? Maybe 3 degrees.
Maybe, yeah.
Something like that. I don't think that was it at all. I think the whole deal is that, and I like him to death. I'm a Sam Pittman guy, but I think he's just wanting to get done already so he can go back to his pad and maybe have him old cold beer or something, He just wanted to come back and get him an old cold beer.
Well, I don't know if that's fair to him, Jamie. I understand that, the reasoning. I believe that there's more to it than just simply the heat, but I think it's more also just about all the players and everybody not getting back as late as.
Think about this, John. Hey, think about this.
Okay.
Okay. So you're gonna let the players so they can rest. You want them to get back to campus early. That's probably the worst thing you can do. Me being as you used to go to college, and I went to college. That's the worst thing you can do is give them more time to go out and party.
I mean,
it would be better if they got back at 2 a.m. where they didn't have as much time to go out and get in trouble.
I think it's more
Am
for
I
just.
right or am I right?
No, I just think it's more about also the amount of travel that they're going to be doing this year. That they're trying to, as Andrew Ellis said, trying to limit as much travel as they possibly can for these long nights and for the times that where they make sure that their team is as rested and the recovery is as good as it is. Because
yeah, but you know these guys, these players are not going back and going to go rest. They're going to go out.
I mean, but you can't run it as just being like, well, we would do it at night, but or we would do it in the morning, but hey, these players, we know they're going to hit Dixon Street right afterwards. Like, I don't think you can base your way of doing it off of that. I think it's honestly because of the amount of heat, how long they would be in the heat. Because of the play, as soon as the game ends, the players load up and they're out of there. But if the game's later in the day, then they start going to the game earlier. They go through walkthroughs. They're out in the heat a little bit longer. Because in this case, they don't get to the stadium to start warming up and whatnot, I guess, until it would be like 10 o'clock, 10:30, something to that extent. So I don't know. I'm not saying that it's only heat related, but I don't think it's about Sam Pittman wanting to get back so he can have a beer at his house. Like, I don't think it's that extreme.
Well, now, John, you know he likes some old cold beer now.
Well, who doesn't like their old cold beers, Jamie? I mean, you like a cold beer, don't you?
Well, actually, I quit.
Oh, okay. Well,
I quit drinking it a long time ago. But anyway, that's another story. All right, guys, enjoy the show.
I appreciate it, Jamie.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for calling in. Cold Coke Zero, if that's what you want. Whatever your beer or not beer, drink of choice might be. All right, so we know that there's a lot of things that happened over the weekend, some good things and some bad things. So let's talk about the best and worst of the weekend.
It was the best of times.
In your life, have you seen anything like that?
It was the worst of times.
Nuts and bolts, we got screwed. Third down.
It's time for the best and worst of the weekend on Out of Bounds.
All right, best and worst of the weekend. I'll go ahead and start with the best of the weekend. And this wasn't even football related, but I love it when there's some rivalry or there's some chippiness, there's some trash talk, there's some teams that felt slighted because a player left and now they're somewhere else. Like, it drives drama and it fuels that. And there's just so much angst. And how many times have we seen players when they go to a different team and then they end up playing that team they left at their home place? The boos, like LeBron James returning to Cleveland, how much anger and frustrations there were for that. We see it all the time. And I'm usually somebody who enjoys that and thrives on that. But I will say, Mookie Betts over the weekend, Dodgers baseball player playing in Fenway, was met with a resounding applause and resounding ovation for his return to Boston. Boston gets a bad rap sometimes, I feel like, for being this fan base that hates people and hates everybody and they're mean. And there may be some truth to that because a lot of stereotypes exist for a reason. But I thought that was a really cool moment to show that not everybody is hated and, frowned upon for leaving. I thought that was a cool moment, and just in baseball and in sports in general, for the Boston fans being very welcoming of the return of Mookie Betts.
Within that same game, Red Sox right fielder Alex Verdugo, he led off that game with a leadoff home run, and he had 3 straight games with a leadoff home run. So Alex Verdugo getting the best for 3 straight games with a leadoff home run.
Also, I'll throw in another best because, again, we had so much from the sports world to really jump into. But I'll go ahead with the best of who Arkansas got, and this will come up again once in the Razor Hog update. But they got another 2026 commitment from an offensive lineman. That was Tay Lockett last week. Well, this time around, it's an offensive lineman from Georgia. Now, he chose Arkansas over Georgia and Alabama and a lot of other schools. So another big-time, high 4-star, 5-star potential player. But that's not what the best is, although that is great. The best of it is his name, Bear McWhorter. Like Grizzly Bear is his first name, Bear. His last name's McWhorter, McWhorter. I love great players when they come to Arkansas, but if they got a great name to go along with it, and especially a guy, if his name's Bear, you know that's going to end up being somebody's going to be on a trench play, whether it's D-line, O-line, doesn't matter. But Bear McWhorter chooses Arkansas. Once again, has 3 seasons to play in high school until he arrives on campus. Assuming he arrives on campus, but still a nice little get and a great name for Arkansas over the weekend.
Slovenia had a game in the FIBA World Championships, and what would be expected, Luka gets a best because he led the team in all categories: points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals. Doing what Luka does, putting the team on his back.
Also, another best that I'll throw into is just having the week 0 games. People, either make fun of them or hate them or whatever it may be. I actually really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed watching the games on Saturday, even if it was games I didn't care about, because I look at it too, and I'm guilty of this, but not knowing a whole lot of other teams and watching other teams and knowing some of their traditions and everything. And I don't care what a previous caller said in the first hour. I thought the Navy Notre Dame game in Ireland was really cool. I thought the fans there and the atmosphere was really cool. The people that made the trip was really cool. Like, all of that's just, it's cool. So unique things that can happen. I'm sure that Notre Dame and Navy, maybe some of them would have rather stayed at home instead of having to travel over the pond. But college football, some of those traditions, some of those atmospheres are great, but having unique things like that was a really awesome time, and I'm glad I got to watch it. And I doubt, Arkansas gets a game in Dublin, Ireland, although that would be cool. But if I was a fan of one of those teams, I would have done anything I could to go over to those games, and those are the cool things about college football that makes it so special.
Best of USC freshman receiver Zachariah Branch. He scored 2 touchdowns in the game against San Jose State, and the guy looks like he's playing on a different level, and he is a true freshman, so it's going to be exciting to see him throughout the season. Caleb Williams throwing passes to him, and him in the return game for USC.
And then also in that same vein of a player in college football, how about Sam Hartman, the transfer that went to Notre Dame? 19 of 23 for 251 yards and 4 touchdowns. I know that Notre Dame people always talk about, they're overrated. They get ranked because they're Notre Dame, sick Notre Dame. I don't care one way or the other about Notre Dame. I really don't. But if Sam Hartman, if that's any indication of how good he could be this year and some of the great players they had surrounding him, will they be a college football playoff team? I don't know. But they're certainly worthy of being a top 15 team. And I'm sure that they'll have some tough games in front of them. But what a great performance out of Sam Hartman, the transfer quarterback, and what a difference a transfer like that can make immediately for your football team.
Worst to Paul Guidos, who going into the Ally Challenge, which is on the Champions Tour, he had a 2-stroke lead on 17, and 17 is a par 3. He 5-putted on 17, so he gave up the lead. Vijay Singh went on to win the event, but he was in complete control until he 5-putted on 17 and lost the event on the last 2 holes.
Yeah, don't worry, man. I've had to 5-putt on a few greens myself, so I can feel your pain on that. A worst of the weekend for me, and it could change, so I want to preface this. It could change. My mind could change. I reserve the right to change my mind. I don't know if I'm a fan of the new rules in college football of the clock continuing to run on first downs. It could end up being okay. I need a bigger sample size, but I didn't really like it.
There's a bigger sample size on the way.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out. Again, I reserve the right to change my mind, kind of similar to what people talked about the pitch clock in baseball. I didn't really care for it because, I looked up and the game was moving so fast, and that's what they want. They want fast games. They want more advertising and commercials. They want all those things. I get it. I understand it, all of it. But as far as for the game itself, I didn't really necessarily like it because I sit there and I'm like, oh, man, Notre Dame had a touchdown drive that was 8 minutes long? That's impressive. Well, yeah, it was impressive, but one of the main reasons being is because they got 4 first downs on those plays and the clock kept running. So it did give them a little bit more of that opportunity, and I think coaches and teams that may be more of ball control, they probably love the new rule, but still not warmed up to it. Still didn't like it just yet, but maybe after this weekend I'll change my mind on that fact.
It's going to affect scoring for college football, so that's something that Bet Saracen, some of these lines that we're used to, may not be as big because of the fact that the scoring is going to go down, and it's going to be affected some from the clock steadily running. A worst to Chiefs receiver Rashee Rice, who dropped a wide open, and I mean, this dude was in the clear by himself, dropped a wide open pass that if he catches it, he's going to score a touchdown. Chiefs were playing against the Browns, and it was closest to the Browns sideline, and you could see the Browns players all reacting to it, where they all had their mouths open, they had their hands on their head, and they were just like, they couldn't believe that the guy dropped the pass that he dropped, because they just knew that as wide open as he was, he's going to catch the ball, score a touchdown. So even the Browns players reacted in a certain way where it's like, dude, you got to make that catch and score that touchdown. So you can imagine how the Chiefs sidelines look.
Well, I know that it's always difficult to play the game of football, but I was trying to think of when a player, like a wide receiver, drops a pass like that, because I saw it and it was egregious. Like, there's nothing you can look to. There's nothing you can say, you can blame or be like, oh man, this happened. There's nothing. It's like you just dropped it. So you can't say anything. You just got to stay silent and just go back to the huddle.
So we can look back a couple of years ago, and Jamar Chase, the great receiver that he is, he was having a case of the drops during preseason. That's been the same thing with Rashee Rice, and he's a guy that's not in danger of getting cut. He was a second-round pick, so they expect him to be around. They have certain expectations for him, and they have plans for him, and they're just hoping he can get this worked out where he's actually catching the ball and adjusting the plan on the NFL level. But he's somebody to look out for because of he has had a case of the drops here in the preseason.
Well, there's best and worst of the weekend. And Ryan, and I know you're on hold. Stay on hold. We'll get you on the other side of the break and continue on that. We'll have your Razor Hog update too. Some of the updates and details from Razorback football specifically. And we'll keep it moving on to Reaction Monday, presented by Fleet Management Services. Oh, yeah, here's another late addition to the worst. My betting with Bet Saracen. Not the app. It was me. I sucked at it so bad. So if I ever say to bet on something, just do the opposite this college football season. And you'll probably win a lot of money with Bet Saracen. But
that would be a great plan.
Yeah, and it's all part of my grandmaster plan here. But we'll get to a lot more Out of Bounds coming up next. Stay with us.
Goodbye, 9 to 5. So long, paper checks. Later on, trips to the bank. Tired of business as usual? Say hello to business banking services from Arvest Bank. At Arvest, we support those starting new businesses or even new side hustles with loans, advanced merchant services, easy online banking tools, and time-saving products like remote deposit capture. Goodbye limits, hello possibilities. Arvest Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Football fans, tailgate season is here, which means it's time to score touchdowns and savings for your vehicle. At All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros, we offer incredible deals and service like your daddy used to get, with the financing options that fit your budget. With our team by your side, you'll get MVP service along with the traction and confidence you need to stay on the road. Visit us online today at allabouttireandbrake.com. All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros. Love the drive.
O'Reilly Auto Parts' new Brake Best Select Pro brand raises the bar for the best aftermarket domestic brake pads and rotors available. For vehicle-specific friction formulations, QuietTech noise-canceling shims, and stainless steel hardware, choose Brake Best Select Pro. Professional-grade brakes from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
That's Mike saying good morning. It's the best he can do right now. Yeah, not a cloud in the sky. What Mike could use is a fresh start. And Irish Spring Body Wash. The fresh scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset Mike needs. Now he's ready
To go to work.
It's Sunday. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring today.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Want to voice your opinion so you don't have to hear the same terrible callers every day?
Are you behind on your credit card bills? Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing. Is your landlord ready to evict you? Good.
Pick up the phone and start dialing. Does your girlfriend think you're a worthless loser? Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing.
Then call or text 501-661-1037 to help the cause. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Coach, I asked you what the host of this party was going to be serving up today. What's the drink of choice tonight?
Well, I'm not promoting it, but I like some old cold beer. I think I'm going to have one. I'm not promoting it now.
On 1037 The Buzz.
Sometimes I feel the fear of uncertainty stinging clear. And I can't help but ask myself how much I let the fear take the wheel and steer. It's driven me before, and it seems to have a very haunting mask appeal. But lately I'm beginning to find that I should be the one behind the wheel. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there with open arms and open eyes, yeah. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there. I'll be there. So if I
It's Reaction Monday here on Out of Bounds, presented by Fleet Management Services. We just got a few minutes because we're running a little bit behind with our best and worst of the weekend in the previous segment. That's all right. But we got Ryan in Hot Springs, who's been patiently holding on. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, I'm pretty excited about this moving back to 12, or moving up to 12. And the reason being, that's going to leave a lot more room to watch some primetime football. I was kind of kicking myself. I was going to miss some of that, Saturday, but now that's done been moved out of the way. So that's pretty cool, and it makes it even better with that running clock.
Oh, yeah.
Know what
I
I'm
guess
saying?
that's another thing. Yeah, we're talking about
That's a positive for sure.
Yeah. I mean, for all we know, the game's at noon. We may be out of there by 2:45 at the latest.
Or earlier, for all we know. Another reason why I called is, so I'm gonna start this with a question. So we consider last year, obviously it was not what we wanted, but we still consider last year a winning season, correct?
Just barely, but yes, a winning season.
Okay. So when was the last time we had a 3-year starter, provided KJ wins this year with a winning record? When's the last time Arkansas had a 3-year starter or 3+ year starter without a losing record?
Well, Matt Jones was here for 4 years, and the only time he had a losing record was his final year, where they went 5-6.
Right.
Well, I guess that would qualify then.
Yeah,
not that he was the full-time starter as a freshman.
Right. So I know Brandon Allen was definitely did not have that his first year.
I think Sterner had one too.
Yeah, Sterner had 97 was a losing season.
Right.
I don't know. That's an interesting question, Ryan. I've never thought about that. I'm sure that there is somebody that's got to go way back when, but
it would have to be someone in the 80s at probably the soonest, because I know Quinn had one his senior year was, I think, 5-7, something like that, or 4-8 or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right. But also you got to take into consideration that having a 3-year starter at quarterback is extremely rare. Like the fact that Matt Jones became the starter later as a freshman, and so he didn't start the year as the starter, but the fact that he played 4 years and was essentially the starter is something we may never see again in major college football.
Well, even if you move it back to a 2-year starter, though, that's still going to take out a lot. That moves you back to, and then that moves you up to Mallet. I mean, that's still, you know what I'm saying? No, my point I'm trying to get at is there's some history going to be made this year if KJ has the year we all think he's going to have, provided everything goes healthy and everything stays on the track. Where I'm trying to go with this.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of interest there too of KJ if he has a huge year this year, which I think a huge year would be over 2,500 yards and over 24 touchdowns is kind of where Bet Saracens put the over under at for what his performance may be. Will he be the greatest quarterback of all time at Arkansas? No, I don't think so. But if he has a great year, maybe some will consider him that. But he'll definitely go down as one of the all-time great quarterbacks at Arkansas just because of his success.
He'll go down as one of the winningest. I don't know the winningest, but he'll be probably top 5 or top 3 winningest quarterbacks ever if he has the year we all think he's going to have.
Yeah, and I know he'll be appreciated and be remembered for all that. But he's got to stay healthy this year, though. That's the number one priority.
That's for sure. That's just my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed that picture I sent you of B earlier. I'd walked into Walmart. I've always wanted one of those hats, and I finally decided to get one. And I went to game day there in Fayetteville, and there was a shortage going on because of COVID and everything else. So I've been looking for one for a long time, and walked in this morning and saw that. And of course, B saw it. She knew exactly what was fixing to happen. So I grabbed it, and first thing I did, before I even paid it, she'd already laid claim to it.
Yeah, it's one of those famous Razor, the actual hog hat itself, famously worn by Johnny Carson, Dolly Parton, Paris Hilton. So, yeah, iconic people have worn that hog hat. So glad that you could finally get one, Ryan.
Yes, sir. Hey, I hope y'all have a great day and go Hogs.
All right, appreciate it, man. Yeah, I didn't know those were so rare. I figured those were hot commodities that you could probably find all over the place, but maybe so. Yeah,
well, hey, if it's unique, and we know that Razorbacks are unique, so go get one if you can find it.
If you can find one. We got more Out of Bounds coming up next. Stay with us.
Allow us to introduce ourselves. We are Big O Tires. However, we might as well go by Big O Tires, alignments, batteries, brakes, oil changes, suspensions, and free visual inspection upon arrival, because we do all that and more. But that name seems a little long and it won't fit on our sign. Now at Big O Tires in Conway and Cabot, take $100 off select sets of tires. That's right, save $100 right now off select sets of tires and get tires, service, and straight talk at Big O Tires.
Bank OZK has always strived for excellence. During every economic storm, through every season of hardship, and despite every obstacle, we've reached for greater. Because we know to achieve excellence, you've got to keep pushing, keep building, keep growing, and just keep going. At Bank OZK, we're reaching for greater heights so you can be greater than you can imagine. Visit a branch or OZK.com today. Bank OZK. Greater awaits. Member FDIC.
103.7 The Buzz is your home for Arkansas football coverage each week, and it's brought to you by Kaufman by Design West, Gwatney Chevrolet, Gwatney Buick GMC, Rainwater Holton Sexton, and Red River Ford. 103.7 The Buzz. The Hogs play here.
The countdown is on. 5 days until Razorbacks football. On your home for the Hogs in Central Arkansas. 103.7 The Buzz.
Buzz News with Channel 7's Cassandra Webb.
The Arkansas Game and Fish Commission are investigating a boating accident at Greer's Ferry Lake that left one person dead. The accident happened around 1 Sunday afternoon. Authorities say 2 boats crashed into each other. There were 3 people on each boat. They're now trying to figure out what led up to that crash. We'll update you with more information as it comes in. The Central Arkansas Train and Hobby Show was at the Conway Expo Center. A Jacksonville model railroad shop called Rail and Sprue Hobbies first hosted the Central Arkansas Train and Hobby Show 14 years ago. Since then, it's become quite popular in Arkansas and beyond. Some of the displays are anything but little. It's a treat for children and families. And if you missed it this year, don't worry. It'll be back at the Conway Expo Center next year, the last weekend of August. For more news and weather, download our free KATV News and Weather apps. From the Channel 7 Newsroom, I'm Cassandra Webb.
Weather from the Fletcher Weather Center with Channel 7's Melinda Mayo.
We get to hang on to these more comfortable temperatures most of this week. Today's high around 89 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Tonight's low drops down to a very comfortable 68. Low 90s expected then for Tuesday and Wednesday. From the Channel 7 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Melinda Mayo.
Today's special at Benihana, lunch only hibachi chicken, $14.95, which includes Benihana soup and our famous fried rice. Come see us at lunch.
Roger Scott is at it again with his Razorback Song of the Week, presented by Dr. Jimmy Tucker at Ortho, Arkansas. Join Morning Mayhem each week as the smooth, dulcet tones of Roger Scott bring you his Razorback Song of the Week. It's all brought to you by Dr. Jimmy Tucker at Ortho, Arkansas, and your fun and game station, 103.7 The Buzz.
From 67-167, it's Billy and Bubba, the Freeway Boys.
Been a heck of a week. Nacho cheese truck turned over yesterday.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Chicken truck spilled today.
Sure is.
Billy, what you eat?
Chicken nachos.
Trucks are spilling over with savings this month at Gwatney Chevrolet. 2023 Silverado High Country, over $6,000 off. 2023 Silverado RST, over $9,000 off. Plus $2,500 off on all 2023 Equinox in stock and rates as low as 1.9%. Coming from Little Rock? Avoid any construction by taking the Main Street exit in Jacksonville. Right on Main, then left on Bailey to our front door. 1301 TP White Drive in Jacksonville. Call 501-982-2102. GwatneyChevrolet.com. Chevrolet. Find new roads. All offers with approved credit. See dealer for details. Number 24502-24664.
Bubba, I'm thirsty.
Well, maybe a Coke truck will turn over.
Hi, I'm Rick Pennington of Lions Drug. We have great news. Generic Cialis is now available at a huge savings. We have Tadalafil, the FDA-approved generic of Cialis, in a 20-milligram tablet at a savings of up to 80%. We have the 5-milligram daily tablets for less than $3 a pill. Lions Drug continues to be your go-to pharmacy for men's health. What are you waiting for? Call us today at 844-676-2247 or go to our website at lionsdrug.com.
There's nothing quite like outdoor living, and at Razorback Camper Sales, we've been bringing the camping lifestyle to families for over 50 years. We're Arkansas's oldest family-owned RV dealer with the best parts and service department in the state. Razorback Camper Sales has everything you need for travel trailers, fifth wheels, and pop-ups. Find out why our customers are always happy campers. Come see us in Hot Springs or online at RazorbackCampersales.com.
This is Pat Bradley for Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union. Summer's coming to an end soon, and so will the Summer Auto Loan Special from Alcoa. Hurry to take advantage of rates as low as 2.49%, up to 84 months financing, and no payments for 90 days. Can't get better than that. You can apply online at alcoacommunityfcu.org or at their branches in Benton and Sheridan. Rates like these don't come along often, so hurry and don't miss out. Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union, serving Saline, Grant, Garland, Hot Spring, and Perry counties.
The Labor Day celebration continues at Motorsports Authority. Wild Bill, you don't have to work hard to get a great deal here.
You're exactly right. There's no hard work in buying a car from us at Motorsports Authority, folks. We keep it transparent. We keep it simple. We keep you happy. Top dollars in your trades. Folks, it's a lot of fun to do business with us. We got the lowest prices within a 300-mile radius on any vehicle that we got on the lot.
In Russellville on East Main and Hot Springs on Central or online at msastore.com. Get here to Motorsports Authority.
What are you waiting for?
This Labor Day at the Home Depot, we're rolling out store-wide savings like a new lower price of $99 on the Ryobi One Plus 18-volt 2-tool kit, because we see long weekends as an opportunity to power up your projects. With the One Plus battery system that works on over 280 products and counting. All driving you to do more this Labor Day at the Home Depot. Get the Ryobi One Plus 18-volt 2-tool kit for a new low price of $99. The Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My check engine light's on?
That could hurt your gas mileage. The AutoZone free Fix Finder service can help find the fix for free.
Get in zone. This whole report for free?
That's right. Printed and on your phone for free.
Get in zone. But what if the fix is too tough?
We'll recommend a local shop. Fix Finder, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios, this is Out of Bounds.
Well, game week, obviously, and we're excited to have an opportunity to get over to Little Rock and play Western Carolina. Kerwin and Cade Bell do a wonderful job with that team offensively. I think they set records. Always first games are scary because of the unknown about the opponent, unknown this year about our own team. But we're really excited to get over there and play a fine Western Carolina team.
Yeah.
With John Nabors.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
And Joe Franklin.
We won't go into shell. We're going to go in attack mode because that's what's required.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Girl, I can buy your Westie world with my base stuff. I know that it's good. Won't you sit it on my taste buds? I get way too bendy once you let me do down. Be humble. Sit 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 down. Who that thinking that he frontin'?
2 hours down, 1 hour to go. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you, as always, for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon, it's been a great Reaction Monday presented by Fleet Management Services. So we've been reacting to everything over the sports weekend, getting you ready for Razorback football game week, as it's been so exciting to just actually have a game to look forward to this Saturday. 5 days away, Darren McFadden days away. And I know Razorback fans are excited to see how it's all going to play out and what to expect. And the game moving up to noon, as we were talking just a second ago with our fearless leader, Justin Acree. A lot of positives there. He'll be able to watch the entire game because we know he calls UCA games, and they're going to be playing Oklahoma State this weekend. So he'll have a chance to watch the entire game and check out the entire game. And again, we've had some people say that it's great for them to have it in the mornings, and people have not been so happy for it to be moved up into the noon situation. So, but we'll have Chris Gordy on here in just a second, but I did have some people chiming in on the Southern Structural Solutions text line. Comes from 501. Says, John, also the rehab facilities at Fayetteville are much better than Little Rock, I presume. So any players that need post-game work done, they can do on Saturday, getting back early. Also, they have to do conditioning and film on Sunday, so they won't be worn out Sunday. Yeah. I mean, listen, these coaches, these people, they know a lot more about their schedules and about their recoveries and about travel than I do. So I'm just going to chalk it up to them that they know what they're doing. So, but that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the decision's been made. The game's at noon, not at 3 p.m. this Saturday. It is what it is. So you can either go or not. Hopefully everybody goes. And if you have tickets and you can't go, hopefully you can find someone that can take them, because you need as many people there at War Memorial Stadium as humanly possible this Saturday. But we'll talk about all the things going on, not only in college football, but I'm sure in the sports world as well. So go to the phone lines and welcome in Chris Gordy of Sports Talk 790 down there in Houston, as well as a Locked On SEC podcast. And Gordy, as always, appreciate you joining us, man. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm good, John. I guess I didn't realize with everybody with all the bigger matchups and all. I didn't realize you guys are at War Memorial this weekend, that kind of thing.
Well, it depends on who you ask. Some people love it, some people don't. But I don't want to stir up any controversy here in Little Rock, because there's a lot of people that still enjoy the games there. But yeah, moving it up though, you don't see that very often, where a game time gets moved up from 3 p.m. Originally, what was supposed to be up to noon. Sam Pittman said it had to do with some of the heat, which I'm sure you guys know all about there in the Houston area about what heat truly is all about. But I think it makes sense. I think it works out, and I think just having that game in War Memorial to start the season will be all right for Arkansas, especially if they come out there and take care of business like everyone's hoping they should.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the right move. Is it really that much cooler at noon than it is at 3? I feel like it's hot as hell no matter what time you play and the sun's out. Move it to like 9 p.m. Then it'd be okay. But yeah, look, I'm with you. I mean, you open up with an opponent like this, it's not getting anybody. People aren't running to the stadium that, oh my God, I can't wait to get my seat to see it. But this is the Tone Center. You open with them. You open up with Kent State. You go play a really good BYU team who you guys took advantage of last year, and then you get that tough road trip week 4 going to LSU. These are all the primers. These are the weeks for Rocket to rack up a bunch of, I don't want to say garbage yards, but rack up a bunch of yardage and put himself prime in the at least, I don't know, Heisman conversation, but at least on the national stage to say, hey, I deserve all these first team accolades I'm getting, and I'm clearly one of the best running backs in the league or in all college football, and a chance for KJ to develop some chemistry in game with some of his new weapons and all that. So, yeah, I mean, look, some teams are opening with doozies. South Carolina opens with North Carolina. LSU opens with Florida State. You can make an argument either way. I tend to like this way. You get a couple of, we'll call them cupcakes to settle in and rack up some stats and get some confidence going.
Yeah, it's a great way for Arkansas to just kind of get into the season, get the feet wet. And there are probably more teams this first week, Chris, that are doing it that way, where they start with a non-conference type of opponent, someone to go in and just showcase what they've been doing, trying to get ready for the season, as opposed to some of those bigger matchups that are going on. But it is good to see some of those, but we're not going to see many of those during the first week.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing because I was starting to, kind of do some predictions and start to look at the slate this weekend. And yeah, I mean, Florida at Utah is a good one. And then, like I mentioned, South Carolina playing North Carolina and LSU playing Florida State. But outside of that, it's a lot of duds. I mean, A&M opens in New Mexico, Bama gets Middle Tennessee, Georgia plays Tennessee Martin. Auburn opens with UMass, Ole Miss gets Mercer. It's really a bunch of it's a slate where the SEC should be racking up a bunch of wins, and we'll get to see how a lot of these new quarterback battles settle out and that sort of thing. But even Virginia, Tennessee, I saw Tennessee's about a 4-touchdown favorite. I'm like, goodness, like Virginia at least is a Power 5 team from the ACC, albeit I think they were projected to finish dead last in the ACC this year. But that's crazy. I mean, Tennessee, like new quarterback, new everything, and they're a 4-touchdown favorite. I don't know about that one.
What do you think of North Carolina, South Carolina? This is something that maybe they can, because they're so close in proximity, maybe they will play a little bit more often, just depending on how college football sets up over the next few years. But seems like an interesting matchup where North Carolina is a ranked team. South Carolina came on at the end of last season. They have expectations there, so should be a good game to start.
Yeah, I was hearing, and I watched North Carolina a couple times last year, and we were hearing all this buzz about Drake May. And then I watched them play Notre Dame in, week 4 last year, and they get their brains beat in. And then, he rolled through the schedule, rolled through the soft ACC schedule, racking up a bunch of wins. And then they go and lose to Georgia Tech, who, by the way, fired their head coach at that point. They lose a double overtime game to NC State, and then they get their brains beaten by Clemson. And losing the Holiday Bowl to Oregon. I mean, this is a team that finished on a 4-game losing streak to finish last season. So I was doubting them big time. And then I went to the Manning Passing Academy earlier this summer, and I got to see Drake May in person. And, right off the bat, the kid won me over. He's got personality plus. Seeing how he was coaching these, young kids up, patting them on the back, giving them compliments left and right. I suddenly started to see, okay, this is what all those NFL draft scouts see in Drake May. It's not just the arm talent, it's the intangibles. It's this, you start to see the skills and the traits of a leader. And that's what they're expecting out of them at North Carolina this year. And so that's why it's going to be a fascinating battle with Spencer Rattler, who was the guy that was featured on a Netflix special before he even got on a college campus. Highly touted and gets to Oklahoma, has immediate success. They're hyping him, with Heisman buzz early in his career. And now he's the guy who was cast off and, finds his way to South Carolina. And things were really going really bad for South Carolina last year until the backstretch of the season. They started to protect him. The offensive line started to gel, and they gave him protection. And they turned into big wins over Tennessee and Clemson, nearly beat Notre Dame in their bowl games. So, this is going to be a fascinating matchup between two really good quarterbacks, Drake May and Spencer Rattler. And I don't know if we're hyping it up enough. I don't know if it's getting enough love. I know it's going to be nationally televised on ABC Saturday night, but I think this is going to be a really, really fascinating battle to see where these two programs are and honestly where these two quarterbacks are in their development.
Another game that, of course, there's a lot of them going on, but mentioning Florida and Utah, that's a Thursday night game, which is pretty nice. But we know Utah took care of business against the Gators in Gainesville last season, and now Florida's going to try to return the favor. I wouldn't say this is a make or break game for Billy Napier, but there's definitely a lot of pressure on him to succeed this season. And Utah, I believe, is favored by 6.5 points in this one. What does that show you if Florida ends up getting beat pretty handedly? If Utah just takes care of business, is that just, hey, Utah's a great team, or does it show that there's some serious problems with Billy Napier in Florida to start this year?
Well, all eyes are on Cam Rising, the quarterback from Utah. So you don't remember at the end of last season, he got hurt in a game. I think tore his ACL. I forget what it was he tore, but they were basically like, yeah, he's not going to be ready to go for the start of next season. And then as the summer went along, they started to get a little bit more optimistic, and the rumors were, okay, he may be ready to go for week 1. But as of a week and a half ago, Kyle Whittingham was saying, I still don't know if he's going to be ready. They put out their official depth chart on last Friday. They list Cam Rising as the starter, so that sent everybody's antennas up going, wait a minute, is he going to play? The people I've talked to, it sounds like to me, Cam Rising still's not going to play in this game. And so if he doesn't, that just changes the dynamic of things. This line has already moved. It originally opened at, back early, like in the spring. This game was it was Utah by about 10, 9.5, something like that. And it's come way down in recent weeks to about 6.5. So, yeah, they're only about a touchdown favorite at home. Florida, obviously, you lose Anthony Richardson, you replace him with Graham Mertz. That's not like the greatest move, but I do think Graham Mertz can be serviceable. I think he could be a good, game manager quarterback, if you will. And look, you can win with game managers. I mean, go back a couple years ago, Arkansas pulled off some wins with Felipe Franks, kind of just game managing games. We always look at game manager as a derogatory term, and I think it's, some guys, you're not going to wow anybody, but you make the throws and you win some games. I think Graham Mertz can do that if the Florida run game is dominating like I think they will. I think Montrell Johnson and Trevor Etienne, that combination is one of the best in the SEC this year. And if Florida's retooled offensive line can run block, I think they're going to move the ball, move the chain, score some points. And I think that defense is going to be light years different from what we saw last year at Florida. Austin Armstrong is a star in the making as far as defensive coordinators go, and I'm excited to see it. They're going to be way more aggressive. They're going to get after it. And again, if it's not Cam Rising, if it's Bryson Barnes, who played a little bit last year for Utah, I think Florida's got a great chance to win this one. So yeah, I mean, if you can get this spread, if you're seeing any books that have Florida as an 8-point or 8.5-point underdog, jump on Florida in the points, because I think they do have a chance to stay in this one with all the questions given around Utah's quarterback.
Not only Cam Rising, there's a question about him playing or not, but Utah comes into this season with losing their biggest receiving threat over the past few years, and tight end Dalton Kincaid, who's now in the NFL. So that's something that they were going to be looking at throughout the entire season, with Cam Rising losing his biggest weapon. And there was going to be a big-time adjustment there as far as who was able to step up and take over that role.
Yeah, they lose one of their best sack artists from a year ago in Diabate. He's now a Cleveland Brown. Cole Bishop, their safety, is back. He was their leading tackler a year ago. But, they didn't have a ton of – and Clark Phillips, by the way, he led the team in interceptions last year with 6. He's in the NFL. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of Utah's best players are all in the big leagues now. And, again, if Cam Rising, who is on paper their best player, if he's not playing in this one, yeah, man, look, Florida's still got talent. I said this in the spring. Like, if you watch Florida's spring game, their starters are really good. The problem is they have no depth. And if anybody gets hurt, misses any significant time for the Gators, I think they're in big-time trouble. But as a starting unit, if they're healthy, I think Florida can play with just about anybody in the conference. So, yeah, look, their schedule is brutal, don't get me wrong. Like, Billy Napier's definitely on the hot seat, and I think he's going to have a hard time getting to 6. I think it'd be a miracle if they get to 7 wins. But this is certainly a Florida team that can go into Utah and pull out a victory. So, again, if you're getting good odds on any of those sports books out there, I would definitely throw a couple bucks on the Gators.
Speaking with Chris Gordy of Sports Talk 790 and the Locked On SEC podcast here on Out of Bounds. So, Chris, we'll get to the LSU Florida State game because I think there's a lot of interest there for obvious reasons. But is there a game or a team in the SEC specifically that you see this week that could get upset, that could lose a bad one? We've seen it happen before. A&M lost to Appalachian State. Things happen. But is there any team that you look at and you say, oh, this one might not be as easy of a task to take on if you're that SEC team?
Yeah, I mean, New Mexico is New Mexico's not good at football at all. But let's see how sloppy A&M looks. Like, it's more so, and I don't think A&M's going to lose that game. I mean, they're about 40-point favorites. But like, how sloppy does A&M look? It was sloppy a lot last year. You mentioned the App State upset loss. I just want to see A&M come out and look like a unit. With Bobby Petrino calling the plays, and out Connor Wegman officially as the quarterback today. I want to see them come out and score some more. I want to see that defensive front get after it, get disruptive. This is one, like, on paper, the final should be A&M 41-3. Like, it should be one that they just absolutely crush them. And so, again, I'm not saying they have any chance of getting upset. Ball State against Kentucky, same thing. Last year, this was the type of game that Will Levis threw a couple interceptions in, turned the ball over. And, you look on paper and Kentucky's a 26-point favorite, but they mess around and win by 20. You know what I mean? Like there's games like that. I mentioned Virginia, Tennessee. I don't think Virginia can hang with Tennessee much, but we'll see. Who comes out and just looks like they're not that well-oiled machine offensively. And the other one to keep an eye on is Alabama. They open with Middle Tennessee State. Alabama's about a 39, 40-point favorite. What nobody remembers, though, Middle Tennessee State played at Miami last year and won 45-31. You guys remember who the defensive coordinator was for Miami last year? It's Kevin Steele. It's Alabama's new defensive coordinator. I keep hearing all these podcasts and articles written about how, oh my God, Alabama is on a revenge tour. They are coming back. They are ready to go. And I'm going, wait a minute, is this the same Kevin Steele that was a terrible DC last year for Miami? Like, what are we doing here? I know it's Saban. I know he gets the benefit of the doubt and all that. But today he comes out and doesn't even announce who his quarterback is this week. It says, it's going to, become a distraction if we announce who the quarterback is. And it's like, no, it's more of a distraction by you not saying who the quarterback is. So that was just fascinating. Look, Alabama's loaded with 4 or 5-star talent up and down the roster. They've recruited better than anybody for the last few years. It's a fascinating case study. And how good is Nick Saban with 4 and 5-star talent? And can he overcome the coaches on his staff? Because ask Alabama fans. They got fed up with Pete Golding. They got fed up with Bill O'Brien. But at the end of the day, those guys are still pretty damn good at their jobs. Is Tommy Rees and Kevin Steele upgrades over what those two guys were bringing them? I don't know about that. And if whoever their starting quarterback is struggles at all, throws a couple picks, man, get ready for those fans to be in an uproar this week. I mean, I know they'll beat Middle Tennessee, don't get me wrong, but let's just say the final score is something like 34-17. You don't think those fans are going to be calling for the coordinator's heads with Texas coming to town next week? So just a couple of those cupcake games to keep an eye on this week that if things don't go well, I think people will be jumping off the ledge after week 1.
With LSU, Florida State, top 10 matchup, and it's a neutral site again, but this time it's in Florida State's favor where they'll have more of their fans available playing in Orlando. So this is probably the best matchup over the weekend.
Yeah, it's a game I'm going to be at in person and going to be fun to see. I look, the NCAA, how often do we come on here and talk about everything they get wrong? They got it wrong again with Mason Smith, the LSU defensive lineman, who got hurt in this game last year. First quarter of this game last year in the opener, he gets hurt. He's done for the season. Just last week, the NCAA comes out and goes, yeah, remember the summer of 2021 when we made NIL legal? Well, like the week before it became legal, Mason Smith did an autograph signing, and so we're going to go and suspend him for a game. Like, what in the world are we doing, NCAA? Like, I just watched the Johnny Manziel documentary, and the dude got a half against Rice for signing autographs. Yet Mason Smith's got to miss the biggest game of the year for LSU for something that happened 2 years ago that was legal 7 days later. Like, what are we even doing here? NCAA's a freaking joke. It's just unfortunate. Look, I'd say the same thing if it was on the other foot. If it was a Florida State D lineman, like, it just doesn't make any sense. And again, it's a big loss for LSU up front, and they're going to have to lean on some of those guys and find some depth on their D line to get after it. But two fantastic offenses. I think whoever wins this game quarterback-wise will certainly be on our short list of top 5, top 10 Heisman list coming out of this weekend, whether it's Jaden Daniels at LSU or Jordan Travis at Florida State. So I hate to overhype it, a matchup of 2 top 8 teams in week 1, but it is that big of a game because whoever wins this game is certainly going to be in the conversation of, hey, can they run the table in the SEC or the ACC and be one of those teams we're talking about in the playoff at the end of the year.
Well, Chris, man, as always, we appreciate you joining us, talking about college football. It's just great to have it back. It's going to be another great week. And also, congrats to your Astros. They look like they're really coming along and doing some great things. They needed a break because they haven't won enough here lately.
Yeah, Michael Brantley coming back tomorrow. First time he's played baseball in over a year. But the Mariners in first place in the AL West this late in the season. Hasn't happened since 2001. So kind of exciting there. And, hey, you guys go get a big win over Western Carolina and keep an eye out for Kent State, all right? Remember what they did to Georgia last year. Don't sleep on them.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. We'll be looking out for it as always, man. Appreciate it, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
It's Chris Gordy of Sports Talk 790 out of Houston, as well as a Locked On SEC podcast. Appreciate him coming on as always. We are up against it, though. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get to some more stories, some more headlines, and more of your phone calls and text messages if you want in on the conversation at 501-661-1037. Won't want to miss it because Reaction Monday presented by Fleet Management Services is almost over, so you better get in when you can. We got more Out of Bounds coming up.
Are you still on the sidelines? Then it's time you suit up and get in the game. Download Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app, Bet Saracen, today.
This is Sports Center.
Robert Perez Jr. hit a 3-run home run in the bottom of the 9th inning for the Arkansas Travelers yesterday, but it was too little too late in a 6-5 loss to the Wichita Wind Surge at Dickey-Stevens Park. Wichita built a 5-0 lead thanks to a 2-run home run from Aaron Sabato, a solo shot from Yoimer Fajardo, and an RBI triple from Tanner Scoble before RBI groundouts from Josh Morgan and Spencer Packard got the Travs on the board. Arkansas is off today, but they'll start a series in Tulsa tomorrow night. Moving to Major League Baseball, the Chicago Cubs took 3 of 4 from the Pittsburgh Pirates with a 10-1 win yesterday. One of those wins came from Conway native Jordan Wicks on Saturday. He retired 15 in a row at one point and finished with 9 strikeouts. I'm Todd Pierce for the Buzz Radio Network.
Hey, it's Houston Nutt. I'll be on Morning Mayhem every Wednesday this football season. We're going to get ready to hit that line and root on those Hogs because we got the wood, y'all. And when you need a new pole barn, metal roof, or steel building, go see my friends at Reed's Metals of Benton, where you can buy direct and save online at reedsmetals.com.
Sometimes the best summer getaway is the journey to the getaway. Start your summer road trip adventure at Hyundai, now during the Getaway Sales Event. Hurry in for great deals on many models, all backed by America's Best Warranty. It's your journey. Own every mile at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Right now, get the Tucson or Santa Fe with up to $2,500 total savings. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today. For well-qualified buyers only. Offer ends 9/5/23. Call 469-613-0227 for more details.
Trey Schapp and Chris Shinup with you. Chris, the 19th annual Kickoff to Men's Health is coming up.
Yeah, Trey, we're pretty excited. It's coming up. The first one will be September 7th at our Little Rock location, 1300 Centerview Drive.
Men 40 and older, it's time to get screened, is it not?
It is. And, as our CEO, Scott Davis, says, you come in for a free screen and you might win a 65-inch flat screen TV.
263-0926 for more information or ArkansasUrology.com. Guys, you can just show up. All thanks to our presenting sponsor, CHI St. Vincent.
Need a new tractor, zero-turn mower, maybe even a new utility vehicle? River Valley Tractor has you covered. With Kubota equipment from River Valley Tractor, you'll find tractors that are rated #1 in owner experience to take on your toughest jobs with ease. Find them today at rivervalleytractor.com. Work smarter, not harder this year with River Valley Tractor. River Valley Tractor, closer than you think.
David Dunn here with Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer. We're the area's largest and highest rated independent diesel repair facility for all makes and models, from transmissions and brakes to suspensions and engine repair. If you're tired of high dealership prices and long wait times, come see what family-owned and locally operated really means. Expert technicians and the latest computer diagnostics will get your equipment back on the road fast. Take the England exit on I-440 to Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer. 568-2185. That's Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer.
RJ Hawk here with Chris Roberts from Southern Bank. And Chris, I know interest rates are high right now. That's what everybody's talking about. But if you're thinking about a project, whether it be a commercial project or you want to build a house, now's the time to come talk to you about what those future plans may look like.
You know, RJ, no matter what the business environment may be, we're always there to sit down with our customers and talk about their future plans and what's going on with their businesses.
And that's one thing about Southern Bank is they're a community bank. They want to be your partner.
Partnering with our customers is a key to how we do business.
And Chris, we talk about those interest rates being high, but the one good news out of that is deposit rates.
We have some great CD and checking account rates. Just give us a call and see what one of our personal bankers can do for you.
If you want more information about interest rates or those deposit rates that we just talked about, call Chris and his team today at 501-424-0900 or go online at bankwithsouthern.com. Southern Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Unlike other shows, we don't talk over each other with old hee-haw jokes.
This is bull crap. Well, I ain't standing for this. Well, might as hell. Yeah, they're down. They're down.
So call or text to actually be heard on Out of Bounds at 501-661-1037. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Hoggs going tempo, right up on the ball, 2nd and 8. Shovel pass. Sanders got a lot of room to the 35, to the 40, to midfield. He's there. He goes. Rocket to the 30, to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown, Arkansas. 73 yards, and just like that, the Hogs are back in business.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Well, I tried to make it Sunday, but I got so damn depressed that I set my sights on Monday, and I got myself undressed. I ain't ready for the altar, but I do agree there's times when a woman sure can be a friend of mine.
It's game week here on Out of Bounds, folks, and we got to tell you once again about Gwatney Chevrolet. The month of August is nearly over, and I'm sure some of you are very happy about that fact because, oh, my goodness, finally, it's not going to be as hot as what it once was, and temperatures are going to start cooling off. Well, you may be happy about that, but you shouldn't be happy because Gwatney Chevrolet's deals in August, some of their best deals you ever see, they're about to end too. So you're running out of time. Got to check out the fact that they have a 2023 Equinox with $2,500 off with 1.9% interest. Also, the 2023 High Country with over $6,000 off, and the 2023 Silverado RST with as much as $9,000 off. So you're getting great deals on all these different vehicles, and it's only through Gwatney Chevrolet. And they're still doing the great deal also of trading in your old phones. You got old phones sitting around, don't trade it in for a new one. Trade it in for a new vehicle with Gwatney Chevrolet. It goes towards your down payment. It's worth $500 towards your next ride, and everyone is approved. Again, that's just for the month of August. So you're running out of time, so head over to Gwatney Chevrolet there in Jacksonville off the Gregory Street exit at 1301 TP White Drive. Gwatney Chevrolet is Arkansas's #1 Chevy dealer. It's Gwatney Chevrolet and GwatneyChevrolet.com. And it is continuing on with our Reaction Monday. You know, I love doing the show no matter what because we're very fortunate and very blessed to be able to do what we do and the way that we do it here, especially on 103.7 The Buzz and being part of Signal Media. But there's just something so much nicer and more fun about game week and about football season being here, whether it's Razorback football or college football or high school football or the NFL, whatever it is. There's just something special about it when we get to the point to where we finally can get hyped up and excited that it's here and we get to see it in person. So can't wait for that to happen. And I know that I guess because the first week of the NFL is it next week?
Yeah.
Right?
So we're 2 weeks away.
Yeah, 2 weeks from that.
And actually about a week and a half because on Thursday night,
right,
Chiefs and Lions.
Yeah, so you'll have some NFL games there, and then we'll really be in full swing for all football seasons. And you know, high school football took place over the weekend too, and despite some of the heats, but still some really fun things. I know people were going to the different games around the state and excited for it. And I didn't get to see the final attendance of the Salt Bowl, but I know it's probably heavily attended. But some of the heat maybe steered some people away, but still a great event and still a great matchup from what I understand.
Bryant won it once again. And then Little Rock Christian was really impressive. They played Central and won 63-0.
Oh my gosh.
Walker White, who's quarterback, and he's committed to Auburn.
Yeah. Heard about him. I heard he's pretty good.
He's really good.
Well, if you're winning 63-0 in a game like that, you must have something to you. So, but yeah, that was good. I think I saw also because we had a caller calling last week about Lake Hamilton and Lakeside. I heard that in that game, Lakeside won. And
they got the upset.
Yeah, been getting beat a lot here recently, so they got an upset there. So yeah, just a lot of great games in the high school ranks, and getting that started up too is a whole lot of fun. And that's something also I feel like gets maybe underrated or undervalued or not appreciated enough. Is the fact that here in the state of Arkansas, across the board, but especially here in the central part of the area, just great high school football from all different classifications. Some people say, oh, well, you never have all those big time recruits out of the state of Arkansas very often. Forget all about all that. You got great games, traditions, rivalries, and the conferences got to realigned at times too. But that's something that is so much fun on top of all the college football in the NFL is also just having local high school football as part of it.
It's always good to get it started. And once we get into it, which we're going to be fully into all of football next week, but once we get into it, we're happy about it being here, but it seems to go by fast. So enjoy it for the weeks to come.
Absolutely. And don't take it for granted. From our Southern Structural Solutions text line, Doug F. said, that song used to scare me when I was a kid. Really? The Sister Golden Hair used to scare you as a kid? I mean, I guess it can be a little bit of creepiness to it, but yeah. Well, sorry for if we brought up any any old problems or trauma from it all there, Doug, but we appreciate you listening regardless. Let's go back to the phone lines. Heath is in Cabot. What's up, Heath?
Hey, good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon, man. Hey, what's this I hear about you misrepresenting me on the show that I was gone from? What's this about?
Wow, misrepresentation? What do you mean?
Yeah, you were calling in talking about my podcast and talking about how I said Arkansas was going to win 10 games and all this stuff.
Yeah, you had some. I watched one of your episodes where you talked about how Arkansas was going to win 10 games.
Yeah.
Or how they could win 10 games. And I just didn't know where you got your information and who was feeding you this kind of stuff to get you to post that. But I mean, hey, look, everybody's got their own opinion.
Well, that's not an opinion. You see, you didn't listen to it if you thought that was my opinion. The whole point of that was that it was what if? What if Arkansas wins 10 games? I didn't say they were going to, and I didn't pick them to. It was just a what if scenario. So that's what I'm saying. You called in, you misrepresented me and everything.
You can what if anything you want to, man. But you should change that to why Arkansas is not going to win in games.
Oh.
You should change that too.
Yeah. Well, you probably still call in and misrepresent it regardless, Heath. But anyways, go ahead. I'm sure it's a great point that you're going to make.
What you need to do, Josh, you need to make a podcast about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and how good they are this year. So that's a playoff team. If you didn't see that game, that's a playoff team, and Sam Hartman's a Heisman candidate.
Oh yeah.
So be on the lookout for them. Well, John, look, I guess I should just go ahead and just be a Razorback fan like the rest of everybody in this state, because you really can't call in. According to you, you can't say anything good about any other team other than the Razorbacks.
That's not true.
Because, well, just the way that I just get this consensus from you, man, that you just can't, by your comment, after I said, look out for Notre Dame. Oh, yeah.
Because it's one game against Navy. Like, I'm not saying they got one of my best of the weekend for how they performed. I'm not hating on them. I'm just thinking it's a little early and premature after one game against Navy to say that, you better watch out for them because they're a college football championship team. Like, I need to see more from them.
I didn't say championship. I said playoffs.
Well, same difference.
Don't misrepresent.
Same difference, though, isn't it?
I'm just saying, look, man, everybody knows how hard it is to defend against the triple option. And Notre Dame did a great job of it. And if you watch that game and you look how good and how poised Sam Hartman was with his experience, that guy's got Heisman candidate written all over him. I mean, I don't know why you'd prematurely jump the gun. I'm sure everybody when
I didn't. You did.
Wins their first game, when Arkansas wins that first game in War Memorial, I'm sure everybody's going to call in. And, there'll be a playoff team too. And
I'm sure. Yeah.
KJ and Rocket, they're all Heisman candidates already. So
yeah, I'm sure.
Just John, they're going to do the same thing they always do. They're going to win their 6-8 games and go to a bowl game, and that's the best you can hope for that team.
Hey, that's fine. I think everybody would take that right now if they could win 8 games. Sign me up.
Hey, a lot of people like mediocrity. I mean,
you mean mediocrity?
Yeah. A lot of people love that. Just be in the middle of the pack, just almost, but not good enough. So,
Do you have a point to your call, or is this just you wanted to take it to this point?
Just be on the lookout for Notre Dame, man. Watch them this year. You want to see a real team that has a chance to do something? Watch them.
I thought you were an OSU fan, or do you just jump back and forth?
Have you not seen the great games that LSU and Notre Dame have produced? Or do you just watch one team, which is the Razorbacks?
What great game has Notre Dame produced?
Have you not seen the games that LSU and Notre Dame have played?
I just asked you, what games do they produce? You're talking about Navy?
I'm talking about playing each other. Are you okay, man?
Like, I don't know what your point is, because you're calling in, you're making things up, you're misrepresenting, you're saying that I say that only if you're a Razorback fan that's the only thing that you'll ever have to hear from, and I hate on every other team. That's not true. So I'm just asking, what's your point?
Joe, you need to check. Does he smell funny to you, man? You need to check that guy, because he seems like he doesn't know where he's at right now.
Okay, so what? Like, I'm asking you what you're trying to say, and you're saying, "Have I ever watched LSU Notre Dame and the games they produced?" And I'm like, "Okay, which one?" And then you're just like, "Do you not understand what I'm saying?"
Well, the last bowl games they played in, have you not watched those?
I probably have. I don't remember specifics, but yeah, sure. Why?
They're pretty good ball teams, I would say, right? They play each other pretty well, right?
Sure.
I mean, that makes for a pretty good game. So I can be a fan of both.
Okay.
Is that okay with you, John?
Well, I was just asking you I didn't know you were a Notre Dame fan. I thought you were an LSU fan. That's a simple question.
Oh my
That's all I was
God, everybody
asking.
on this show, you're the only one that doesn't know that I'm a Notre Dame fan.
You're right. Must not be listening to you very clearly, I guess.
Well, I guess you hadn't been watching my podcast. You got to watch my podcast.
Yeah, I'm sure your podcast is great too, Heath.
You got to watch my podcast. Probably as good as yours there, John.
Okay. Well, see, listen, this is what you do, man. You're calling in, and like, you wait until I'm not there to say something about my podcast. I just didn't appreciate it, man. That's all. It's kind of discrediting me, right?
Hey, look. It's okay that you got to see your feelings. It's okay. Look, man, everybody's entitled to that. I'm sure Joe's got some Kleenex around there for you. Look, you probably should keep that in stock, because if you're going to be watching the Hogs play the rest of the year, you're going to need it. So, it's okay, man. Toughen up, man. Get some thick skin.
Dude,
You're a Hog fan.
I don't understand what the point of this call is right now, Heath. Like, I just simply was trying to make a joke about it, and then you come at me, and you're just like asking questions to where I'm answering them, and you're just being like, "Are you okay?" Because you're asking these questions.
You can fill up this state with what you don't understand, man.
Okay.
I'm worried.
Thank goodness we have you calling in to let everybody know about it.
I'm worried about you, man. Hey, get some help, man.
Hey, okay, that's enough, Heath. I appreciate you calling in, though, and continuing to be wrong. That's great. But either way, always good to hear from Heath. Not really, though. We'll move on. We got 3 and Out coming up next, and we'll get some headlines, some storylines, some things we got to dive into. We'll keep it moving on Out of Bounds. So stay with us on Reaction Monday, presented by Fleet Management Services.
Bank OZK has always strived for excellence. During every economic storm, through every season of hardship, and despite every obstacle, we've reached for greater. Because we know to achieve excellence, you've got to keep pushing, keep building, keep growing, and just keep going. At Bank OZK, we're reaching for greater heights so you can be greater than you can imagine. Visit a branch or OZK.com today. Bank OZK. Greater awaits. Member FDIC.
Greenway is your local source for John Deere equipment and implements. Now, we've made finding the perfect piece of equipment even easier. Shop our tractor packages online at GoGreenway.com. Till deeper with our Down to Earth package. Or save big with our Green Saver package. Need something with a little more muscle? Kick it up a notch with Greenway's Get In Gear package. We're here to support the DIYer in you. No matter what project comes your way, Greenway has you covered.
It's Justin Aker with Laura Beth from Kaufman by Design West, where we always talk about getting everything you need for your home, but they also are your one-stop shop for tailgating. We are so happy football's back, Laura Beth, and Kaufman by Design West has just what you need.
Yeah, we do. We have smokers, coolers, grills, and even solo stoves for all those chilly game days.
So if you want to stock up and get ready for your favorite tailgate, get out to Kaufman by Design West. It's out west past Taylor Loop, 14900 Cantor Road. You can find out more about all the things they have to offer at KaufmanLumber.com. Justin Aker reminding you that if you want the job done right, then don't stress. Just go with the best. CertaPro Painters is your go-to painting company. You can get your free estimate scheduled at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. People who are going to be responsible and people who are going to be accountable to you and your family to make sure your project gets done right. So if you've been thinking about sprucing up your home or business for the fall season that is almost upon us, you need to get CertaPro on the case. Use the company that I've used many times over the years. It is CertaPro Painters. You'll be happy you did.
Hey, it's Joey and Ryan here at Red River Dodge. You know, we're known for amazing deals, but this month it's going to be much better. Have you ever wanted to buy a Jeep Gladiator? Well, now's the time. Employee pricing rebates, 1.9% financing, and much more on select models.
Ram 1500 up to $13,000 off on select units.
So for all your new Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, make that beautiful drive to Heber Springs during the Make This the Summer event. And don't forget, at Red River, we deliver. God bless.
Hi, I'm Rick Pennington of Lions Drug. We have great news. Generic Cialis is now available at a huge savings. We have Tadalafil, the FDA-approved generic of Cialis, in a 20-milligram tablet at a savings of up to 80%. We have the 5-milligram daily tablets for less than $3 a pill. Lions Drug continues to be your go-to pharmacy for men's health. What are you waiting for? Call us today at 844-676-2247 or go to our website at lionsdrug.com.
Injured? There's only one number you need to know. Dial 888-8888.
At Rainwater Holton Sexton, no case is too big and no insurance company too strong. Just dial 888-8888.
We are battle-tested, big case injury lawyers who've recovered millions for our clients. Just dial 888-8888.
Been in a wreck anywhere in the state? Just dial 888-8888.
Responsible attorneys Michael Rainwater and Bob Sexton.
Make plans to attend the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette Health and Wellness Expo, sponsored by UAMS, on Saturday, September 30th at the State House Convention Center in Little Rock. This free health and living expo will feature free health screenings, the memo van, doctor panels, a political panel, Arkansas Travelers Bingo, and prize drawings. Don't miss this event, Saturday, September 30th in Little Rock. To find out more, check out today's Arkansas Democrat-Gazette or visit ArkansasHealthAndWellnessExpo.com.
It's not just about the size of the meat, it's about where you get it from. So get it from Hoggs Meat Market in North Little Rock. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people.
Kane is in the building.
Their time is done. It's over.
Over? Did you say over?
Nonsense. I've not yet begun to defile myself.
Call Kenny Loggins because you're in the danger zone. I play real sports. I'm trying to be the best at exercising.
It's time for 3 and Out. It's been 3 hours, and we are
boom out of here.
All right, it is time for 3 and Out. A few headlines, a few storylines, a few things that we got to dive into before we close up shop here on Out of Bounds. I appreciate everybody listening in. This also happened over the weekend, too. Not necessarily sports related, but still sad nonetheless. Bob Barker, the passing of a legend of TV and game shows and just all of life. He was 99 years old. So incredible that he was able to live just near a century long. But most iconic for The Price is Right and some of the great moments that he had there, and did a lot of great things, too. Also, Happy Gilmore. Can't forget that movie and the role that he played there. And so just a really, really awesome guy, and just hated to see that he had passed away. And I know they had a long, full life, but rest in peace, Bob Barker, one of the all-time legendary greats, especially when it came to broadcasting.
The Arizona Cardinals made some moves over the weekend where they traded for Browns quarterback Josh Dobbs, and there was some wonder as to why they made the move at the time. Now there's more clarity as Kyler Murray is going to remain on the PUP list, so he's going to miss the first 4 games of the season. Now, it was thought that maybe Josh Dobbs came in to fill a roster spot because of the fact that Kyler Murray is going to be out, but they also cut Colt McCoy, who had been their first-team quarterback all offseason through spring training camp and then even preseason games, as Kyler Murray's recovering from his ACL surgery and waiting to come back. But they made some moves, and now it all makes sense in the fact that they got Josh Dobbs, and he's going to be their starting quarterback for at least the first 4 weeks of the season.
So, and another funny, interesting twist, because we know with college football coming up, there's always some madness going on with it. But, you know, Michigan had Jim Harbaugh already suspended for 3 games. It was 4, it's 3, waiting on the NCAA. Well, apparently Sharon Moore, who is the offensive coordinator for Michigan, has also been suspended for this week's opening game from the school's self-imposed penalties. And they said that Harbaugh said today in a press conference that an analyst will be elevated to fill more spot on the staff. So I've heard people, he says, quote, I've heard people comment it's a slap on the wrist, he said, but it's more like a baseball bat to the kneecap. So not just Jim Harbaugh, but also their offensive coordinator, they're going to be without for at least the first game.
The Browns also not only traded away Josh Dobbs, but made a move with their kicker only a couple of weeks before the season started. They acquired Dustin Hopkins from the LA Chargers, and they're getting rid of Cade York, who was their 4th-round draft pick just last season. He began his rookie season with a 58-yard game-winning field goal against the Carolina Panthers, but he struggled since, including a couple of preseason games this year where he missed 2 game-winning attempts against the Eagles and also against the Chiefs. He missed a potential game-winning field goal and an extra point, so they made a move, and short-lived for a kicker that they just drafted last season. Don't see kickers drafted really high, and that's actually really high as a 4th-round draft pick. And then a couple of years later, he's gone. No longer with the Browns anymore.
So the U.S. sprinter Noah Lyles had quite the comment that got some people fired up, where he was mentioning and kind of threw some shade at the NBA. He says, quote, the thing that hurts me the most is I have to watch the NBA finals and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States. Don't get me wrong. I love the U.S. at times, but that ain't the world. And that got a lot of NBA players and a bunch of mentions, especially on Instagram, and got them all fired up. I thought it was kind of a funny comment more than anything, because it is kind of interesting when they call them world champions, and they win it in the NBA. It's like really just the league that's here in the United States. But still, I didn't think it was too much to get bent out of shape, but apparently NBA players didn't take too kindly to that. I don't care one way or the other. NBA champions, world champions, whatever you want to call yourself, as long as you're hoisting the trophy, I think that's all that anyone cares about at the end of the day.
There's a house in North Little Rock that happens to be listed for rent at 45 Perrin Road. And it's just another listing, but what makes it interesting is the house is actually owned by Beck, who is a musician and worldwide renowned musical artist. But he owns a house here in North Little Rock, and if you can check out the property, you could probably get it for a little over $1,000 a month rent. But just an interesting fact that it's owned by Beck.
Also, some fun things for you airline travelers. If you may get tired of children or babies crying, if that's something that stresses you out and something you don't want to deal with, well, here's the thing. In Europe, at least, they're trying out with the airline Corendon as a new service where passengers can book a seat in the adult-only zone. Nothing dirty about it. It's more just for people over the age of 16. For an extra $75, you can be in this little area where there'll be no children, there'll be no babies, nothing like that. I don't know how many times you're going to have people that are willing to pay $75 more for that. I don't know how frequent it actually happens for worldwide travelers, but Europe is trying it out. Maybe that'll help them. Maybe that'll work out. But if it does, you can bet that the rest of the airlines will follow suit too.
According to lifehacker.com, the best travel times going into this Labor Day weekend, earlier in the week, Wednesday through Friday, happens to be 7 a.m. And then on starting on Saturday, you want to travel after 6 p.m. And they say the best day to actually travel during the Labor Day weekend would be Sunday, because you're going to be looking at minimal traffic, but just giving some suggestions of when to travel during the Labor Day weekend.
Also, I don't know for anybody that watched the show Hannah Montana, I didn't watch it, but they had Mitchell Musso, who was one of the actors from it. He got arrested over the weekend for being drunk in public. Not something that you want to do. And no special was made from Ron White and his comedy sketch about it. But that wasn't just the only thing that he got charged with. The headline read that he was charged with theft too. Well, what in the world did he steal? Well, he's 32 years old. Upon arrival, officers contacted the compliant, who advised an individual who appeared intoxicated who entered the hotel, selected a bag of chips, and just began eating them. So he was charged with theft, not for stealing anything of high value necessarily, but just did see a bag of chips, opened them up, and started eating them without paying. Kind of thrown on charge into that, but I doesn't say what type of chips it was either, but hopefully it was worth it, especially with how drunk that he actually was.
Halloween is around the corner, and it's not as close as it may be, but stores already have Halloween items on the shelves. Their Halloween costumes already being sold. There's a couple in Ohio that revealed they spend about $2,000 a year on Halloween decorations for their house. They say they're really into it because they enjoy scary movies and all the festivities around Halloween. So they spend $2,000 a year getting ready for it so that they can decorate the house and give away some nice items to the kids coming to trick or treat.
So there's a bar that's in Milwaukee that will pay your entire tab, whenever the Jets lose a game started by Aaron Rodgers. And that is the Jack's USA Pub there in Milwaukee. And it's just your drink tab, not your food tab. But anytime that he loses the game when he starts, if you're up there in the Milwaukee area, look out for it. And probably going to have a lot of people rooting against the Jets as it is. But when free beer comes along with it, they'll definitely be all about it.
Oh, yeah. They're definitely going to take advantage of that. And there's a little animosity there, and they're holding some hard feelings. And, I mean, I guess for good reason.
Yeah, well, hard feelings can be drowned away with some free beer and brewery that you have there, too. But, hey, we are up against it as we got to take our final break because we got Drive Time Sports coming up. I appreciate everybody listening in this afternoon. For Joe Franklin, I'm John Nabors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great one, everybody. We'll see you then.
August is here, and